an intro song today. It's probably going to be a longer one, so I hope you stick around with us. We're talking about all of the things that we've learned all in one place from the interviews with Hunter's family, Allison and his grandma Sherry and his great grandma Grandbun and Leslie, of course. There's all kinds of information that allows us into understanding what happened and what was going on in the lives of Summerwell's Dawn and Candace in the months and year and a half that they knew one another leading up to June 15th, 2021. And it's just difficult and frustrating sometimes for people to try to remember. So I went and pulled all of the transcripts from the interviews and I broke down all of the information that they wanted to share, including the JLR interviews. Now there's an hour and a half of interviews that Boots on the Ground did, like them all together, right? Like Molly and Betty, Olivia and JLR. They interviewed them in front of their house. And there's a part 1 and a part 2 video to JLR. Nonetheless, breaking them down, you can get all of the points that they brought up all in one place without having to put yourself through the videos. Now, we're going to watch some of them, of course, but only the parts that are of interest, because it is impossible to ignore. It's impossible to ignore the fact that alcohol was being given to all of the children, specifically in this case, Summerwell's, the child who is now missing. It's impossible to ignore and pull random guesses out of, and it's hard to ignore the facts that are in front of our face. It's just difficult unless you've got all the information or enough information. And we never had enough information at any one time over the past, the first couple years, have we? We've been put through this step by step, interview to interview, comparison video clip channel. You know how it goes. So it's important to compile some things and focus on what the hell is it that we learned. Now, I ask you, friends, even when children are given alcohol, and children, in my opinion right now, for the conversation, I consider them under the age of 18. But let's talk about toddlers. See, you might introduce wine with dinner, and it might be customary in your country or in your family, your culture. But in nowhere in the fucking world, even including the Old West, the Wild West, the frontier, has it ever been normal to give a toddler, a baby, alcohol to consume? Now, there's all kinds, everybody knows, and it's been sent down from your family to you, perhaps, that a teething baby and just a little bit of whiskey on the end of your finger can bring relief. I'm not sure if that's still practiced. It probably is, but that's not what we're comparing it to, okay? Forget all of that bullshit. That has nothing to do with what people are suggesting Candace was doing specifically to a 5, 4, 3-year-old. Why would you want to give a 5-year-old alcohol in the first place? I appreciate the helicopter, Grandma. Thank you. The answer is to make the caregiver's life easier, in my opinion, to calm them down, to put them to sleep specifically, to get them out of your hair. Because why? Because kids are annoying most of the time. They annoy the heck out of you one way or the other. They're too clingy, or they're not doing something that they're asked. You know how it goes with kids. Well, think about Candace and what she likes to do all day, allegedly. It's not like we barely know Candace at this point. What's different, friends, is when we go through it in the moment and you don't know the people, as opposed to looking back over years and everything that you've come to learn about somebody, it's difficult not to recognize some problems in their lives. And specifically, alcohol is a real influence in their day-to-day activities, and it's a problem for society. I'm not talking about their own livers. I'm not talking about their own mental health. If they want to kill themselves with the bottle, that's their prerogative. But it crosses over the line when they utilize what's readily available and put it into giving a 5-year-old, doesn't matter if it's in a sippy cup or in a plastic pop bottle or anything else. The answer to why, my friends, is why to the caregiver, as we just mentioned, it has to do with controlling. Otherwise, taking over, keeping them occupied, putting them to sleep and out of your hair because you feel that they're too out of control. You can't handle them. They're too rangy. They've got you running around here, there, and everywhere. And you want to be scrolling on your phone. You want to be doom scrolling. You want to be watching MTV. The answer is always the same. It's a lot different to give a child like that alcohol. There's only one answer. But my question, friends, is what point when you talk about alcohol and miniature kids that are 20 pounds, 30 pounds, and you start dosing them with alcohol to put them to sleep slowly, and you're doing it over a period of time, it's nothing short of attempted murder. So already we have a pattern of what we can consider attempted murder by way of Candace, whoever's giving her that alcohol, because any amount of ethanol in her system is considered a medical emergency due to her age. Your body as an adult is a lot different than a developing body, especially in the womb, especially a child. They're still developing. They can't metabolize alcohol the same as an adult can in their liver. So and imagine if this is a pattern of behavior she's been carrying out because everybody knows about it. So it seems to me that she would have had to have been doing it for at least the year and a half that Allison and the family has known Candace and Dawn. Get myself straightened out here. Just little things that I wanted to start off with tonight because it's important. I'm not just making this fucking up. It would be stupid and silly for any of us to go anywhere beyond looking at what is right in front of our faces, especially when it comes to the risk factor to Summer and the alcohol. The alcohol is the strongest leader at this point without even introducing any magical drugs by way of Jody Sue. How foolish have we been? Like, why did this not stick out to me at the time? It did. It has. You can look back over the 5 years and we've mentioned how inappropriate, but I was focused on it more so because of how appropriate and how she was using the alcohol, not even taking in consideration or overlooking, because we're constantly on this information overload. Blow it all out of your mind for a moment. And understand that everybody has been saying, everybody, that Dawn, let's just drop Dawn, that Candace gives Summer alcohol. Why? Why the fuck do you give a toddler alcohol? You know, why didn't that stand out to us earlier on? You can, I'm not even going to stand up for giving a 15-year-old or a 14 or a 12 or an 11-year-old a glass of wine with dinner in that sense. This is completely different. This is, in my opinion, at this point in time, friends, attempted murder. Now, with the law, in my mind, that's why what the way we can look at it. I don't think you can look at it legally like that. Maybe you can make an argument in a case for it, but it goes much deeper. But it also fits in as an aggravating factor in the neglect and abuse around the house because they're giving their children these substances. They're normalizing it at a very, very, very young age. Oh, like 6 or something, Sandra. But we're talking about a 5-year-old child. Let me remind you, it doesn't take a whole lot. It doesn't take a whole lot for her to go to sleep. All right. But it doesn't matter. Stop. I'm not saying you're making excuses. There's no making an excuse. A doctor would consider any amount of alcohol given to a 5-year-old child as a medical emergency. Any amount. Any amount, whether it's a half a cup in fluid measurement, a shot, half a shot, a little bit. This had been going on for some time. So it would have to have varying effects upon Summer. The end goal would be resulting in going to sleep exactly, wouldn't you know it, what we see in the goddamn milk jug photo. She is appearing to be asleep, but also appears, in my opinion, it's only through a picture, to be suffering some of the other effects going along with alcohol intoxication. And her body going in and essentially hypothermia. She's probably freezing. Who even thinks of doing that, helicopter grandma? Candace Bly does. That's who. It doesn't matter if it was the twisted tea or if it was hard alcohol. Any alcohol. She's going to put alcohol in with her pop, in with her whatever she gives her. Maybe she gives it straight. Who knows? But what I'm saying is she's groomed, she's normalized it, she's been giving it to Summer more than just a one-off. All right? Everybody there knows it already, and this is what we're here to talk about today. Anyway, that's my bit of a side tangent, friends. So let's start talking about the things that we've learned. Guys, I trust that you see the connection there, the problem with all of this. Now, it's natural, and your mind wants to shake it off, disprove, because we have been normalized ourselves into thinking that it's not that bad. But we never, ever, in fact, anytime anybody ever gets an offense or a DUI for alcohol, they go through training, and the first thing that they teach you is grams per 100 milliliters of your blood, how to measure blood and what alcohol actually does and how you metabolize it. But we're applying all of this. All that shit is out the window when you consider it's a 5-year-old girl. She's actively being poisoned by stuff that she doesn't need a prescription for. It's handy. It's readily available. It's in the cabinet. Good to see you, sweet tea, Jen R, I mean. Stacia, good to see you. Fucking furious about this. Why? Listen, this goes beyond a cultural issue within their particular family or anywhere else. This is a toddler. So we'll go 3, 4, 5 year old. A 3, 4, 5 year old, because she's been doing it as long as they've been around. She's been using it all that time to deal with her daughter. That doesn't tell me that you cherish and value and love your child if you're giving it alcohol, presumably, and why wouldn't we, in order to put her to sleep or to control her, to calm her down. A 5-year-old child. There is no other reason. There is no, it's normal in our family. It might be normal to allow your 14-year-old to have half a glass of wine at Thanksgiving dinner. Because there's benefits to it at the end of the day. But they ain't caring anything about nutrition or class or culture or tradition or their own family. Right? That's obvious here 5 years down the road. Played everybody in trying to let them know that they were being hard done by the state. No accountability, in that they were being kept from their kids without following the required bare minimum safety requirements to get their children back. That was a big disappointment when they were able to get the boys back, considering there's no summer. That was a big shock. But guess what? They didn't fucking care enough to do any of that in order to get their boys back. They just blamed the state and play victim. They had every opportunity to clean their fucking lives up, but they chose not to. That is heartbreaking. And their boys had to live through that and realize that their parents really didn't like them very much, that they were unwanted. They were just up there existing. Parents who love them get them back. Parents who love them go through whatever it takes to satisfy whatever judge signed off on them in that sense. It wasn't made impossible. It was shocking, frankly, to even see that they had a chance to get the boys back, considering of how far our biases were up and what we suspect them of doing to Summer. But again, the truth really influenced that, because there was probably no way that they were going to open up and reveal anything. And there's conflicts. There's things going on that the children know. They were being used as props that particular June 15th day. And they were gaslit. They were blamed that particular day. And you can see that with Josie in front of the camera. You protect your family. You don't prop them up there and use them as a prop in front of a camera as though this poor child has some sort of responsibility in what you're trying to lead the public to believe is a stranger abduction, asshole. Who the fuck do you think you're fooling? So the question is now, friends, just how premeditated is this? When you go through the check. Hold on, Chair. No, just a second, my friends. How premeditated is it? How could whatever ended up happening, whether it was unintentional, it was an unintentional effect of the alcohol that Candace gave Summer down at the swimming hole. She gave Hunter alcohol. Was it an unintended effect? Or is there something more to it? I'm saying something bad was bound to happen. Well, yeah, when you introduce alcohol to a 5-year-old on a consistent basis like that in order to put her to sleep, something was bound to happen anyway. Absolutely, 100%. It's just a matter of time. You're not building a tolerance. You might be building a tolerance, but you're going to have varied results. You're playing with fire. You're poisoning your child. You're poisoning your child. End of. And considering how nutrition wise, she's not getting near close to any of her recommended nutrients, the proper amount of food or the appropriate amount of nutrients, she was already lacking, and her body was already in a state physiologically of being fooled into thinking it was full, not having the proper nutrition. So let me just, I'm not making this a reading stream. I want to read you a couple of things, because then I got interested about other cases around with caregivers who administered their, they administered alcohol to their children, especially toddlers. Is this a common thing? What the hell is going on? So I brought up a few cases, and I'll read them out now. So if you're interested, you can go and read further. So we explored the case where a caregiver intentionally gives a child alcohol, approximately 5 years old, and it results in their death. Fairly easy. We asked it different ways. We got different results. One documented forensic case closely matching the age at 5 years old, a boy in Poland whose death from acute ethanol poisoning was detailed in a 2008 case report. You can go and get that on PubMed. So the 2008 Polish forensic case, this Kleis et al. It's an unusual case report published in Forensic Science International. A 5-year-old boy, approximately 20 kilograms, 118 centimeters tall, died after consuming a large quantity of vodka at a party hosted by his parents. Science Direct has it too. Some of the key details from the autopsy and investigation. So the child drank an estimated 120 to 150 grams of 40% vodka, roughly 50 to 60 grams of pure ethanol in the evening. Witnesses and parents observed clear signs of intoxication, but these did not alarm the parents because similar episodes had occurred before without any serious consequences. What? A 5-year-old? It's happened before? What? Post-mortem toxicology. The blood alcohol concentration is BAC. He was 0.04. Legal limit is 0.08. Of course, everybody knows. And this is grams per DL. 400 milligrams per DL. We'll explain the measurement in a second. And urine alcohol of 0.5 grams per DL. Death occurred during the elimination phase. Autopsy findings include pulmonary edema, congestion of internal organs, and liver changes, macrovascular steatosis, and a small foci, consistent with significant alcohol exposure. Hair analysis detected ethyl glycerinide, ETG, a biomarker indicating the boy had occasionally consumed alcohol prior to this incident. Another reason to shave her head. The authors noted this suggested some prior exposure, which was unusual for a child this age. The cause of death was sudden death due to acute ethanol intoxication, inebriation. The ingested dose was lethal for a child of his size and weight due to rapid absorption, immature metabolism, and profound central nervous system and respiratory depression. This case is presented in the medical literature as rare because fatal ethanol poisoning in young children is uncommon. And it highlighted prior occasional exposure via biomarkers. The parents hosted the party where the alcohol was accessible and consumed. They were aware of previous incidents but did not intervene effectively. The report frames it primarily as an accidental fatal poisoning in the context of the family event, though parental knowledge and lack of alarm raised clear issues of supervision and endangerment. No specific criminal outcome details are provided in the forensic paper itself. So get ready for the next one. A closely related recent U.S. case involving intentional administration and its punishment. Well, not exactly age 5, a highly relevant 2022 case involved a 4-year-old girl, China record, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where a caregiver intentionally forced the child to drink a large quantity of whiskey as punishment. Grandmother Roxanne Record allegedly made the child kneel and drink the remaining alcohol from a bottle of Canadian Mist whiskey, more than half a pint in some reports, because the girl had sipped from it earlier. The child's mother, Kada Record, was present and allegedly did not intervene. Kaja Record. The girl died of acute alcohol poisoning with a reported blood alcohol level of 0.68, more than 8 times the adult legal driving limit. Holy shit! That's fucking mind-blowing. Holy shit, man. In May 2026, a jury convinced Roxanne Record of manslaughter. The case drew significant attention for the deliberate nature of the act as punishment. This case exemplifies intentional administration by caregiver, leading directly to fatal poisoning in a very young child. So other patterns in similar cases, documented incidents often involve caregivers and parents or grandparents giving alcohol to infants or toddlers to make them sleep. Example, whiskey in a bottle, sometimes resulting in death and charges like neglect or manslaughter. Cases involving disabled or nonverbal children where alcohol was administered via feeding tubes or other means ruled homicide due to the deliberate delivery and high blood alcohol content or concentration. Broader issues of accessible alcohol at home or parties combined with poor supervision. In a medical context, young children have much lower body mass, higher water content proportion in some tissues, and immature liver enzymes, alcohol dehydrogenase. So even modest amounts can cause rapid, severe intoxication, hypoglycemia, hypothermia, coma, respiratory arrest, or aspiration. Blood alcohol concentration levels that might be survivable or merely intoxicating in adults are often lethal in preschoolers. In jurisdictions like the United States, intentionally giving alcohol to a young child or allowing or encouraging it in a way that shows reckless disregard can constitute child endangerment, abuse, or neglect when death results. Charges frequently include manslaughter, as in the Record case, or in egregious circumstances with clear intent or depraved indifference, more serious homicide charges. Furnishing alcohol to a minor is itself illegal in most places. Well, where is it not? With enhanced penalties when it leads to harm or death. These cases are tragic examples of child abuse, neglect, and underscore why strict laws exist around alcohol and minors, safe storage, and caregiver responsibility. They are investigated thoroughly by law enforcement and medical examiners, with forensic toxicology and autopsy playing key roles in determining manner and cause of death. So the G per DL measurement is a unit of concentration that stands for grams per deciliter. One deciliter is 100 milliliters. 1 DL equals 0.1 liters. In medicine and toxicology, this is a standard way to express how much of a substance, like alcohol, glucose, or hemoglobin, is dissolved in blood or other body fluids. Why these numbers matter in the cases we discussed. So, the adult legal limit is 0.08 deciliters. Typical intoxication is 0.1 to 0.2 grams per deciliter. Severe impairment and a risk of coma would be 0.3 and above grams per deciliter. Lethal range, especially in children, is around the 0.4 grams per deciliter and higher. So let me see here. Let me go back. Chris McDana started the interviews off with what he's dubbed the forgotten interview. That's the one with Leslie. So let's break down what we knew or what we found out, because it's important. It talks about the history of when and how she got to know Don and Candace. And I mean, I wonder if we look at this a little bit with blinders on. I think we're guilty of that because of how we got to know this family, all right? I'm just speaking off the record right now. Not really. I'm not off the record, but just away from. I'm just a side comment, I should say. So the relationship between Don and Candace and this entire family, we never realized how it was so unbelievable. We only saw it because we think that it was Allison that was friends. Listen, the entire family were friends, including Sherry. They all lived together with their kids. They were really incorporated. And it was never because they respected and enjoyed the company of Allison or Sherry. It had everything to do with how they could fuck them over, how they could get money off of them, take advantage of them. All right. That's what their true intentions were. They were victimizing the entire family, stealing money from them and fucking with them by manipulating the hell out of their children. Good to see you, Queen. Love you. Oh, Donnie, thank you very much. It's very generous. My God, I appreciate it. Good to see you, Queen. Everybody give a big salute to the vault. But again, as we got to know the case, we keep looking at it through a particular individual's eyes, which was Allison, who's no longer with us. She passed away, sadly. But she was torn in all of this, and she was I believe, the primary target by way of Candace and Don. You can get over on Allison here very easily. Allison will convince herself that there's nothing wrong and just go on about her life in that sense. And that caused a lot of problems within that family. Instead of understanding when you've been taken advantage of and getting on with your lives, she turns around and says, well, we shouldn't let what our differences get involved with the kids, specifically Hunter. because it's unfathomable to think that after you get to know all of the nasty and fucked up things that the Wells did to this family, that out of nowhere, that June 15th, Candace calls back, starts talking to Hunter. Hunter doesn't really know about the fallout and thinks things are normal. To a degree. He doesn't, I should say, he knows there's been a fallout, but he doesn't know how to handle things appropriately. You don't want to watch that tip? Can you put that up over there on the table then, honey? All right. I'll take it here, I guess. I lost where I forgot where I was going with that. What I was saying is, they were being manipulated. They were being used, taken advantage of. Let's get into the things that we learned. Must be getting too wound up because my daughter's all stirring around and trying to interrupt me in the background. I have to tell her that I'm not upset. Daddy's not upset. He's very calm. All right. So the Allison Leslie Grandbun interview is the one with Chris McDonough, the one on your screen. It's a joint interview with Allison, Hunter's mother, Hunter's grandmother, the same woman from the previous Allison. Well, you don't have to explain that. Hold on. So it goes on to talk about Allison confirms she and Candace had been friends for roughly a year to a year and a half after Allison relocated from New York. They had actually been in the area 10 years by the time of the interview. Is that true? Really? 10 years? 2011, 20... Seems... I gotta check that. Really? Friendship started through Allison's mother, Sherry, who met Candace at the Salmon Tree, likely a local spot, and slowly introduced her. Allison's first impression was just that Candace was just out looking for a friend. Candace initially seemed nice, but he trolled her. The relationship became close. She was like a sister to Allison, and those kids meant the world to me. See, if you can remember, it seemed like there's a lot of emotions attached to things, right? So Allison has always tried to seem virtuous in all of this, assuming that they must have done something to harm her. And look at this situation where Allison never once brings up how inappropriate things are between the relationship with Hunter and Candace. It is bothersome to no degree, and the alcohol is included in that. The alcohol is just an aggravating factor. And this gets acknowledged later on in JLR's interview. Oh, Susie Mac, thank you, darling. That's very generous of you. Go England. What a difficult game to go into Mexico City and play. You have to go up into the high reaches of the atmosphere to play that game. Hopefully they make out okay. Canada got booted today from the round of 16, but we got far. Germany got out too, so I don't feel so bad. We're moving up in the world rankings. Finally, holy fuck, what I've been sitting around here for 30 years. I remember when the World Cup was in Detroit in 1994, for crying out loud. Fuck, Canada, we'd never even think about qualifying for a World Cup back then. I think we qualified once. You're not in England, Susie Mac? Wow, the pounds just... The pounds just... You're in the UK, though. I'm expecting. The the pound note. Yeah, you want, Susie Mac, you want the Mexico to tank the 3 Lions, do you? One way or the other, it's probably going to be some trouble in Mexico City tonight. Let me go back and take a look at this. So, the friendship started through Allison's mother, Sherry, who met Candace at a local establishment and slowly introduced her. So she was friends with Sherry first. So Little Summer still does mean the world to Allison, of course. The boys are also devastated. Key takeaway, both women started with a positive or neutral view towards the children and genuine affection. So the relationship soured, money, suspected rugs, and neglect. The friendship began to fall apart after Candace went to Wisconsin one summer and returned just before school started. Money started disappearing in Allison's house. Only 3 adults were present. The kids couldn't have taken it to a store. Allison's gut, they were stealing it, well, because they're thieves regardless. She thought it was probably for rugs. Candace had openly told Allison she was a recovering meth addict. Allison and Leslie believe she drank heavily every night and smoked the chronic, but they are unsure about ongoing meth use. Local rug context discussed meth, pain pills, fentanyl patches, opioids. Relationship fully dissolved around the end of August and early September of the second year. Allison cut ties by late September, early October. So they cut ties roughly late September, early October, around the previous year, because that October was when Jose Roman came down and they were already having their issues, and then they got into that fight out at 110 Ben Hill Road over the fresh meat. Whoops. What the hell am I doing here? So Candace had openly told Allison she was recovering. Yes, I got that local drug. The context, relationship fully dissolved around the end of August, early September of the second year. Allison cut ties by late September, early October. So between that time and June 15th, they didn't have much to do with one another or anything to do with one another. So out of the blue, on June 15th, Hunter gets a text from Candace telling her how Grandis is in the hospital. Bizarre. Why would you out of nowhere call Allison's son? It's inappropriate right there. Like, why would you do that? There's something else going on that June 15th. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just another indicator of premeditation. In this interview, Leslie has a strong dislike, and she talks about the pool incident, which was a major red flag for, the way that she treats her children. Leslie met Candace at work on Candace's birthday. There was a small kiddies pool, was it Candace's birthday? There was a small kiddie pool in the backyard. Boys were horse playing in the pool, just normal kid behavior. Candace made the 2 boys get out wet and lie stomach down on the hot blacktop driveway. It was a very hot day. Leslie was horrified, and those kids did not deserve that. Leslie immediately dumped the pool out, told Allison and her mom, "I do not like this effing straight up." and she left because she was afraid she would go to jail if she stayed. Candace and her mother, and Allison's mother, Sherry, laughed about it. Oh, no, Candace and Grandis. Candace and her mother laughed about it. Excuse me, Grandis. Additional observations. Candace was banned from the Walmart on Fort Henry Drive after an incident where she threatened to blow the place up over a cell phone return issue. Is this the same Walmart she got when she was stealing the frozen pizzas out of that Allison or Sherry worked at? She was escorted out, security called police, but she was released with a ticket and a trespass warning. You're not allowed to come in here and steal these pizzas anymore. Leslie views Candace as callous and cruel towards children. The pool incident left lasting negative impressions on both of them, all of them at the table. So no matter, we're of course talking about the incident that took Summerwell's life in order to set up this conspiracy to cover up and turn it into another report from caregivers to law enforcement, or they report their kids to emergency services as abducted. That's really what they did. Okay, it's a false report over their children being abducted. It's a false report, a hoax. Exact same situation as Orrin and Orson and the other one we're covering, Jack and Lily. In our opinions, of course. But we're not wrong. That's just nice to say. Even the Attorney General is saying it the other day. He's putting his disclaimer in front of the camera before he talks all about the nastiness of the things that are going on. Don initially seemed like he was an outgoing guy who loves someone to death. Summer was his pride and joy. His recent behavior, acting loony on Facebook and in TV interviews, talking about God punishing people cruelly. Jezebel and everyone has an answer to the prophet. To the prophet. Oh yeah, prison. He's got prison religion. Leslie's theory stated directly, Candace was jealous of Summer because Dawn gave the little girl a lot of attention. Well, let's just put that to hold for a sec, because I don't think Leslie knows all about the sexual abuse and the problems with that have been uncovered since that interview. I'm pretty sure she's not aware of it, and she's passed on too, sadly. Rest in peace, Leslie. So no matter what the event was that took Summer's life, the strongest candidate for the reason why they had to cover all of this up was to avoid Summer talking to Child Protective Services because of the alleged SA going on in the environment, in the home, excuse me. No matter what happened to Summer, good to see you, Raz. It ties into Dawn not, or even Candace, because the accusations are towards her as well, but just putting it out there. But old Dawn is a real problem. Leslie believes Dawn probably has nothing to do with Summer's disappearance. I don't feel that Donnie has anything to do with it. She thinks Candace is the one that did something. So they detailed the timeline of the day that Summer disappeared. Now, the morning pickup. Candace showed up in a truck. Not the green Suburban, but it was Grandis's truck, by the way, to pick Hunter up to go fishing with Summer. Grandma Sherry was in the ER with a knee injury due to, she says, the boys having kicked her on a recent vacation to Gatlinburg. Only Summer and Candace and Hunter went that day. Candace pulled up and stopped between the pole and the mailbox out front. She asked if Hunter could go fishing. for a little while. Allison agreed. Hunter loved Summer. Treats her like her little sister. Well, there's still a fucking problem with the situation here. You guys had a falling out. You guys don't get along. All of a sudden she pulls up and asks your son to come out and play. You wonder how our children get violated. Like, could you even I couldn't see Allison even protecting her children from anybody. I'm furious at her. Why the fuck would you allow... Who the fuck does that? Who the fuck does that? This is an example of how easy it is to get one over and bait or fool, manipulate Allison. Okay, we know that Candace sent a text to Hunter before she arrived. She already targeted. You already knew she was coming. She pulls up and asks you if Hunter's allowed to come fishing for you at that point in time, with you at that point in time. Like, fuck me. So your problems with her thieving off you, stealing from you, fucking you over. Like, there's people like that, so I shouldn't hold it against her. There's people like that, but in this circumstance, it makes me upset. Anyway, she asked if Hunter could go fishing for a little while. Allison agreed. Hunter loved Summer. Big deal. The fuck cares? The drop-off time was between 2 and 2:30. Grandis's truck was parked in the front end facing the telephone pole. It's nice that you can remember those technicalities. People in the truck, when they returned, were Candace, Grandis, Hunter, and Summer. Now, Summer's condition, she was in the middle of the back seat, sleeping next to 2 gallons of milk. The windows were rolled up. Hunter was on the driver's side. Just asleep. She's just sleeping. Number one, she should be fucking wide awake. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. You've got a body filled with sugar from the slushies that you guys picked up in the candy. You've been swimming. How more awake do you feel after you go swimming? There's no need to be asleep. Nobody's going to go to sleep. I don't believe that she's naturally asleep on those milk jugs. You should be wound right up because you got done swimming and you went right up to pick your groceries up. And she's extra stimulated, sitting there watching videos on her phone. It's not like she's worked a day in the heat. She didn't pull plows through the field. She was out having fun for short bursts of time. She should be wide awake, especially a 5-year-old. So, in my opinion, you're already introducing alcohol into her system at that point. It's unnatural. There's something else affecting. There's a reason why she's so damn tired at that point. Same damn reason that Hunter looks fucking drunk. Everybody else recognized how drunk Hunter was when he got home. Look at all of the things that Allison is overlooking here. So it tells you, too, that she's protecting, and she's got a personal beef and a narrative going on, and it's her time to shine. And she wants to tell her things through a flawed, deviated optical from a perspective. Now, Allison wanted to wake Summer up to give her a hug, but Candace said no. I wasn't allowed to wake her up. First of all, I would be, here's what you don't, as a parent, You have a 5-year-old child sleeping in the back at 2:30 in the afternoon. You know it's going to be a long night because children will be up all night. Naps are fine for half an hour when you're a baby, a toddler. You have an afternoon nap. Give yourself a bit of a break, but you don't dare make it too long or they'll be up all night. So why the heck did you not want her to wake her up and say hi? What was going on in that vehicle that everybody suspected you of acting suspicious? You just dropped by to come hang out with her son, her 15-year-old son, her underage son, and give him booze and nicotine vapes. Drive around with her. That's what you do with your girl. That's what you do with your love interest. Go do that with Donnie. Why the hell do you need my kid? There's so much wrong with the scenario already. But of course, people are so thirsty for information. Just talk away and tell us all about it. We can come to our determinations later. Chris does a fine job about that. In my opinion, you can't ignore it. You can't ignore it and just take it into consideration. It has to be a fucking factor here. It absolutely is a factor. Hunter told Allison that they had stopped at a store before coming back. Explains the milk and groceries. They had been watching TikTok videos and Summer was giggling away and then fell asleep right before they pulled up. Candace stayed in the truck the entire time. Grandis stayed in the truck the entire time, which was, he says, 5 to 10 minutes. She didn't get out. Allison's gut at the time, she believed Summer was alive and genuinely sleeping. In hindsight, she questions everything. You question everything except the fucking shit that's happening to you. So, gets me worked up a little bit. Let's listen.
This is right after you relocated here from New York. Okay, so
no, it's been a few years after we've been here from New York for about about 10 years now.
Okay. In that time, help me understand what the dynamics of that relationship between you guys.
Sherry.
My mother started the friendship. Okay. She had met Candace and the kids and her mom down here at the Santa train.
And you have a good Irish name.
Thank you.
I'm McDana, so Clado ring.
They had met Candace down at the Santa train.
Okay.
And then she slowly introduced Candace to us and her mother.
Okay.
Okay, Chris, I won't block you this time.
So your introduction to Candace was through your mom?
Yes.
Okay. And what was your first impression? You're next. I see you're begging to jump in here, Allison. I love it already.
No,
You're
Leslie.
Leslie, I was just testing her. Okay, you passed too. So, what was that? What was your first impression?
Someone that was looking for a friendship. Nice,
Yep. A good person.
Yeah.
Just out looking for a friend. Okay. And over time, how did that friendship evolve?
We got close. She was like a sister to me. And those kids meant the world to me. Little Summer still does. Even the boys. It just kills me.
See, and you can't change anything, but I don't disagree, but we can at least now account for it because we know we know the problems within the family and the difficulties and challenges that they've had because of the things that they've said, Jennar. So yeah, how I account for that particular piece of deception, Jen, that people hold against Allison is even right there, you can see that she suffers from a bit of narcissism. She's wants to be the center of attention in the moment, and she's telling the story from her perspective as the victim. So it's very biased in that sense. That doesn't take away from the information that she's sharing. You know, she wants to be perceived as a particular way. Because, again, like it or not, you have to remember at this point in time, very important, that before Chris McDana showed up, about, what was it, two weeks in, is when that crazy shit started happening. And it was making the front, the headlines of all of the papers that were covering the Summer Wells case about Andrew Hiltz getting that guy to come pick Hunter up. And there is this issue. So she's already exposed to a lot of media frenzy in that sense. So she's taking things at that point in time. It's overwhelming her particular senses. Like, she's definitely not on the level focused on child safety by any means. She might think that she is, but what the fuck are you talking about? She's the antithesis to child safety. She's not a very good mother in that sense. Unfortunately. Now, just because she loves her son doesn't constitute her as being a fit mom. And that was the problem between Sherry and herself. And Dawn and Candace in this relationship where they are nothing but manipulated. They are nothing but used, stole from. You know, that's the pattern of behavior by way of Dawn and Candace. This is not a happy time. At first, in the relationship, when you first get to know somebody, you're accepting. How long did that last, guys? Like a week? Dawn and Candace are always open and welcoming of people that they can take advantage of.
That she's gone. And, you know, starts.
Candace was dirty, unwashed, and she did let her kids run all over and didn't make them mind.
So, and did that strike you?
Yes, and I did not like her.
Okay. And you're a great grandma, so you have that sense on whether you can tell, right? I mean, knowing, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, when were the highs and when were the lows?
Well, she had went to Utah, well, Wisconsin, over the summertime. She came back just before school started for the kids. And we did family things with my kids and her kids.
Right.
We
And
went
your
on
mom?
walks and hikes. No, my mom had a falling out with her.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And
So already there's a problem there. No, my mom had a falling out with her. But after the falling out, you didn't take that into consideration. You all live together. They consider you all the same people. It's hard to stay away from each other. It caused a major rift in amongst these girls. And that had a negative effect on the kids. Fuck, they are abusing your children. They're exploiting your kids. How is it you can't recognize child exploitation when you see it, Allison? Because they regret their choices. They don't want their kids to suffer because of the adults' decisions. So they still get together, hating each other, just so their kids could hang out. That doesn't make any sense, dude. It makes 0 sense. None. That might be something that you say if you all are forced to be together as if you were on the soccer field, the baseball diamond, the football, the gridiron. That's what parents tell one another when they all have to be around each other and they may not get along. You have to do it because it's going to affect the game. It's going to affect the kids. Just go on about your business. Ignore them. You don't have to get along with them. We're here for the kids. Don't let it affect their experience. It means you don't have to like each other, but the kids, if they're the same age, can go and hang out at school and be friends and do their thing unaffected. But it all is going to depend on what soured that relationship to begin with. There's no possible way that you can get up here and start defending these child abusers. They've got a long history of child abuse, sex abuse that's gone unchecked, intrafamilial, and even panty sniffing and stealing. Fucking hell.
Over time, it's just started falling apart.
And how much time do you think it took?
A couple months for me to realize
And what did you realize?
she was using me.
Okay, describe that for me.
Let's see, I put food in her house to feed her kids and her and her mom.
So listen to the way that Allison described that. It only took you a couple months to realize. It doesn't sound that you even realize it to that June 15th. Maybe you start now. Maybe you do now. And this, what I'm getting at, friends, looking back on it now, spoiler alert, not really spoiler alert, but I guess we'll use it as such. Listen, when we start to talk about how premeditated was June 15th in relation to what happened to Summer, there's a reason that day that she came over, got in contact with Hunter first and Allison, and then took them around. And even fed them alcohol. There's everything wrong with that relationship right there. Mistakes happen. Maybe she would do it again someday. But my point is they seem to be so clear and observant over how they've personally been used in incidents in the past. But up to that June 15th day, they're not putting the pieces together. It's so bizarre. You should, I would think, recognize how these assholes are pulling you into this, and they've used Hunter. That should be coming right out of your mouth right now. But again, there's so much information. It's a controlled environment. I'm not holding it too much against her, but I want to emphasize that the more you realize about what happened and the things that happened, it would be surprising. Do you think, considering all of the shit that they did to you, mean-spirited, they stole from you, the lack of respect, it almost seems like they targeted you. And on that June 15th, all of a sudden, they did something nice and came over, and this was just an innocent situation? You would be foolish to even think that it was innocent, considering all of the shit that they've been doing to them. I'm not wrong. I'm not even overprotective there. But I'm telling you, for you to think that that's innocent and came out of the blue and it's like, oh, everything's hunky-dory. Yeah, go ahead. Take my 15-year-old son out with you and fucking manipulate him. Exploit him. Give him some booze, why don't you? Oh, you're really showing what a great fucking scout leader you are, Candace. You're a real big brother. Everybody else is telling Chris in front of the world how much you guys stink. There's a smell associated with you guys. So maybe I'm just speaking for many of you, perhaps. But I'm telling you that we cannot, as junior detectives, as armchair detectives, as cyber sleuths, as people interested in the case, there's no reason, and we cannot get past these very important details. Can't skim over them and start pulling things in randomly and ignoring what's being talked about and the potentials and how that affects that particular day. Now, parenting isn't easy. It seems that 2 out of the 3 ladies in that house knew that there was something wrong and are wanting to speak out about it. Wait till you see the JLR interviews. It has nothing to do with the quality of interview. It's just important that you see the state of poor Allison. Like, oftentimes, and you know as well as I do, friends, that it's other people that can see it a lot clearer than the person who's being manipulated. Think about how many suckers or how many bad relationships that you've been in where perhaps it's been one-sided and maybe she's a bit of a gold digger. Maybe he's only interested in what's between your legs, ladies. Or maybe he can't stop staring at your chest. He's using you. But often it's other people that bring it to our attention first. And it's hard when you don't want to see, or maybe you've been, I've had so many manipulative friends who have used in the back, but I forgave them because they were just that charismatic. Fucking douche. Sometimes it happens. They're not good friends, but friends that have come and gone over history. People do some funny fucking things, manipulative things that they maybe you've done some things that you regret. So I'm not going to hold it against Allison too much, but for us out here, it's going to be impossible to ignore. Impossible to ignore. There is a reason, and that reason, and all of this points to premeditation. And that doesn't take the family here out of the equation. I don't think they realize how much they influenced what happened on this June 15th. Because all of the shit that they go on later to describe about the things that they've called the police on them for, they've, made accusations to Children's Aid about one another before. There's an ongoing battle and stuff that you just can't ignore. People, when they get feel that they've been slighted like this, will go back after the person who did it or try to twist it and put it back on them. And that's what's happened in this relationship. And it's been centric around the inappropriate conduct with Hunter's sister, Allison's daughter, and Hunter, and another one of her daughters. So Don and Candace have every reason to reach out and try to attack them somehow, pin something on them, set them up, manipulate them. And it goes far beyond just picking Hunter up and fucking filling him full of booze and dropping him back off. It may have gotten to the point where what was already going on with Don and Candace and CPS was going to escalate to, and maybe it did escalate to, inappropriate conduct. That sort of thing would put Don in jail. And this is the real firecracker for him. He had to do something. It's going to be hard to shake that. Don cannot be exposed for any SA against Summer. And there's every reason to believe that it was going on. Why? Because it has all of the indicators. It's not just one thing. It's being talked about constantly. And the icing on the cake is that they all sleep naked together in one bed in the basement. I mean, why would you even want to do that? Don't answer that, pervert. Don. We can see, we can only imagine. It's not because you're concerned over welfare or her sleeping habits, or maybe that you're just so attached to her. There's something far more inappropriate going on in there. And of course, that's got to push mixed emotions and cause some sort of effect with your wife, Candace. Whether she's been alleged to have participated, she's alleged to be just as abusive in the same sort of ways. Is it true? I don't know. But it doesn't surprise me when you hear all of the debaucherous things that go on up there, and it's crossed the boundaries into putting hands on children. It's a real problem. How the fuck, Allison, could you ever possibly let Hunter go with a person who would do something like that to a child, or allow that around the children, knowing what you know and have told CPS?
I've had money come up missing, which I never told anyone.
Okay.
And it's pretty obvious where it went, because there's only 3 adults in the house at the time. The rest were kids. Kids can't go down in the store because there's not one that's near. That's where to go.
And
we're all human. We're human in that sense. And I feel, part of me feels bad for coming down or sounding like I'm coming down hard on Allison, but it's important to answer these questions. There's no boundaries with these people. And let me give you an example. So we know how debaucherous Candace is in the stories of her bringing randos back that she picks up at the gas station. A rando, she fought over a rando, Jose Roman, who she had held up there for a long while Donnie was in Utah. Allison is the one who brought Jose Roman to Candace. So Allison does the exact same thing that Candace does when it comes to relationships or meeting new people. Maybe it's difficult for her. Okay? But it's still no excuse, in my opinion, especially when you've got children like that, Allison. But it's too late now. I mean, Andrew, he's probably out there listening. Andrew had his reasons to say what he said about Allison. At the time, it was difficult to hear, but I can understand his frustration. Allison is difficult to deal with in that sense. And what blows my mind is, listen, Hunter is your son and he's 15. And you are old enough and you've been around where you should already recognize, certain ways of the world enough to protect your family. It's not like you're just a young, naive mother. So you really have to question how much of a participant has she been in all of this? Unwittingly, it's like the type of person who forcibly or purposefully looks the other way.
Money was going.
I don't know.
What's your gut?
Probably drugs.
Okay. What kind of drugs?
Well, she came out and told me she was a recovering meth addict.
Okay.
Yeah.
She doesn't strike me as having the characteristics of somebody who is obviously under the influence of meth all the time. Sorry? Booze. She drink a lot.
Yeah. So there you go. Like she wants to make that accusation, but who's to really say? Maybe she would not say no, but she's fairly large, right? She's not, doesn't look like she's been hooked on the math that long. She's not on the diet plan yet. She's a heavyweight, but come to find out that she's just a fucking drunk.
Oh yeah, every night at 5:30.
I'm not saying she didn't do meth. Don't misunderstand me, right? I mean, I don't
She never
know.
did it for me. She always smoked weed.
Okay. Yeah, who,
And,
who
she
doesn't
drinks.
smoke weed today, though, right?
Me.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, oh, yeah. So we got 4 at the table here. Okay.
And
I can afford it.
she drinks every night.
At least Leslie said
She
she's
drinks a
on.
nice sized bottle of R&R every
Okay.
night.
Okay.
I mean a nice sized jar.
How about a lot of times in this area, I know there's a big meth problem. What other kind of drugs are on the streets up here? How are pills doing up here?
Yeah.
And what kind of pills?
Oh no, I don't really hear about the pills. I hear about the meth.
Leslie?
Well, you hear pain pills,
Opioids? Like oxy?
and that pain patch. They said on the news the other day that it's running rapid here.
Fentanyl.
Yeah, the fentanyl patches.
Yeah. Yeah, well, here in West Virginia, right? I mean, West Virginia, there's a town in West Virginia, I think it's Morganstown, and they had like 22 people OD on fentanyl in a single day. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So at some point, 3 or 4 months into it, correct me if I'm wrong, okay, your relationship kind of dissolved, but it maintained.
Longer than
It
that.
was longer than that.
It was the start of the second year.
Yeah. It was about the end of August, early September.
Okay.
And then I really cut ties at the end of September, early October.
In that time, how was she treating the children?
She'd smack them and beat them.
Describe that.
Well, let's see. One time her son wanted a drink. She said no. He threw fit on the floor, so she went over and wailed his ass.
Is that normal? Would you describe that as a mom, from your mom's position? Would that be out of the norm, or even that raised your eyebrows?
It raised my eyebrows. Like, I don't beat my kids.
Okay. Did you say anything to her?
I said, what'd you hit him for?
Ask her who unplugged the freezer.
Not me.
What hose unplugged? Now we can't have pizza snacks.
Well, plug it back in.
I did.
But in between this, you should ask Leslie. Because Leslie was there before all this.
So you've known Candace longer?
No.
Oh,
No, I met Candace on her birthday. See, me and her worked together.
okay.
So I came over for her birthday party. And they had a swimming pool up out back. It's a little swimming pool. And her kids and Candace's kids was playing in the pool. And some of the kids had got out and was eating a snack while we was cooking hamburgers and stuff. And 2 of her boys was in the pool and they was horse playing. And this really, what she done really got to me.
Okay.
I mean, they're kids, they're going to play in the pool.
Right.
They're going to get rough. You know, they're boys.
Right.
And because they got rough, horse playing in the pool, she made them get out. And back here behind the house, there's a driveway. And she made the 2 boys get out of the pool, wet, and lay down, stomach down, on blacktop.
It was hot. Really hot.
That left an impression with you.
It left an impression so bad. I looked at her and Allison's mom, Sherry. I said, I do not like this bitch. Straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Allison, I said, this swimming pool is going down. I said, those kids did not deserve that. I walked out, picked a swimming pool up, and dumped it. Turned around and walked back in the house. I did not want to be around her the rest of the evening. I didn't, because if I would have been, honestly, I would have went to jail.
Right.
And you want to ask me how I felt about that? That is abuse. Those children could have got seriously burnt.
Right. No, I agree. I agree that if that ground is just unbelievably hot.
And with them being wet,
Right. Yeah, it's just like oil and water and grease. It just
And it
fries them
just-
up. How did she react?
she just laughed.
She doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
Her and her mom both just laughed.
Well, that certainly has left an impression on you, Leslie.
Yes,
So imagine what it is that we don't know or we don't see and they don't do in public or they wouldn't do in public. I mean, it makes you wonder.
it does. I don't like her. I
Okay.
have nothing for her.
Right.
And I told that one right there when we was at work.
Right.
Every day she was off work, she was at Walmart spending money for them.
Okay.
Every day.
For the children. I know what you mean by for them, for the children, am I right? I mean, helping the kids
So
move
was it for me,
forward.
those kids, all they would eat is dollar pizzas.
How do they have the cars that they drive? That kind of stuff.
The ones that are on the property, see, I only knew that, at first, when I first met them, I only knew that Candace had a green Suburban. Donnie had a black truck, which Candace had sold when she came back from her trip from Wisconsin. She sold her husband's truck because he took his white truck with him to Utah.
Okay.
And there's other trucks on the property too that were not sold yet. There was a blue one that used to sit as you came out her front door. It used to sit right there in the yard,
Okay.
next to the tree where the swing was.
Okay.
That's been moved over by the mother's trailer.
Since the incident?
Get it right, the mother's camper.
Well, the mother's camper, I call it trailer. But from what I've seen in the pictures, it's been moved over by the camper.
No,
But it didn't have any wheels.
It didn't have no wheels, no insides. It didn't even have an engine.
So let's talk about the
The
day.
house was filthy.
Yes.
You tell her that. You tell him
The
that.
house was nasty.
I didn't go up there because I didn't like her.
Just
So
send me
I
a
always
text
stay
on
here.
what you want.
What's your impression of Dawn?
Yeah.
He seemed like an outgoing guy at first. You know, he has his problems.
Bill Chip Fullen, good to
Like
see you.
we all do,
Yep.
right?
I
He
did not
loved-
know him.
He loved Summer to death.
Yeah.
That was his pride and joy.
Yeah.
That was his pride and joy.
Is he still around? There's a rumor that he's kind of evaporated. Is that true? If you know?
The last time I knew he was around.
Okay. And of course, you know how things are. You know, people don't know unless they're here, right?
But
He's
he
been
was-
acting a little loony on Facebook lately,
Yeah. Oh boy.
and on his interviews on TV.
Right.
Like first he started saying stuff about God and how he wanted the people that stole his daughter punished by cruel means, and then he went to saying something about Jezebel, and now everyone has to answer to the prophet. Like weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he has really hurt this family.
By throwing me and my son under the bus. Oh.
Well, you know, people do different things.
Listen to what Graham Bunn just said.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he has really hurt this family.
Yeah, but he has really hurt this family. Do you see that, dare I say it, that even though Allison's the mom and she's playing protector, you know, that she's doing too much, she's overprotecting if you could believe it, where she becomes irrational, illogical, and just feels that the need that she has to seem like the boss. In my opinion, she shouldn't be the one who's being interviewed. We'd have to move. I want to talk to Grandbun now. But I trust Chris, what he's doing. So what's happening after time has passed here, and we can look at this with hindsight. And we'll go and look at how we know this after this particular interview. But Grandbun brought that up for a reason. She's talking specifically to the things that we referenced earlier about the reason that you fell out and the ongoing problems. The thing that it seems Allison doesn't want to acknowledge. That's a huge problem here. Everybody else recognizes the probability that you're being fucked over by these people, and you're talking about other anything else. She's reminding you. You guys are talking about Dawn, but of course, it's hard not to be preoccupied with the case with Summer, right? Your mind is heightened. And Allison it doesn't sound like she would even pick up on the inappropriateness of it all. Hunter would never have been with Candace. I mean, it's a funny spot to put Allison in that day, because Allison is Hunter's mom. She allowed Hunter to go. He said, yeah, she okayed this little venture, where you really should have said no and not been a part of this whatsoever that day. But she knew that you would say yeah, because she's well-groomed Hunter by that point, thinking that he has some sort of special relationship specifically to her 5-year-old child. There's nothing wrong with them being friendly, but playdates? Très bizarre.
By throwing me and my son under the bus? Oh.
Well, people do different things. Penny, for your thoughts, Leslie, where you at?
More importantly, I will tell you this. We talked to their neighbors.
I don't have nothing to say about it.
No, actually, they said a lot.
They said a lot.
They said a lot.
Oh my gosh.
And one of them said something very upsetting.
Listen, I tried to help the woman. Sherry, just stop.
Yeah, you ain't gotta worry.
Come on, you just shut up. You're dead anyway.
What do you mean? Like, would you try to help the woman? Like what?
No.
Like
That's
not
not
to
what
give
Don's
a kid
saying. That's
alcohol
what
and
people
drugs
on
and shit like that.
She gave Summer alcohol and drugs?
She said that you're really Sherry, that she's really
Really?
me.
Did you see it?
And then I'm like, no, that's
When did
not
she
the
do that?
case. And they're like, how do you know? Do you
When
know
I
this
first
kind of
met her?
family? Yeah, that's like 20 over.
Alcohol and drugs?
The first thing Sherry said was Candace gives Summer alcohol. This is from JLR's interview from his channel. This video explains and opens with a chaotic audio, as you heard. It sounds like the interviewer and possibly others. Oh, well, it's on the street, of course. Allison claims Candace gave Summer alcohol. She gave Summer alcohol. Candace would give Summer rugs and alcohol. I know alcohol, and so did Dawn. These are aggravating factors, I'd say. If they're credible, we've got no reason to not think that it's credible. That's Sherry's major concern. All of the things that Allison didn't want to talk about at the table. What Grandbun was referring to. JLR asks her, do you think Candace was our Summer was molested by or in any way by the family? I mean, because we're hearing rumors, you do, by who Dawn, probably the mother too, Candace. That's a kerfuffle of both of them. So they're talking, Sherry here's accusing probably both of them. Does she have any evidence of that? It's just her mentioning it. But again, at the time, the boots on the ground crew here were in awe over the interviews that they had with the neighbors, talking all about how inappropriate their relationships with minors are up on the hill and what they think goes on up there. Not to mention the stories like from Jody Sue about peeping Dawn running around the neighborhood, peeping in people's windows, playing with himself. Allison says she saw signs there. I didn't like it, and I warned them, and references neighbors' sentiment that Candace was a sexual predator. That's what I'm saying. Candace is a sexual predator. I mean, how else are you going to explain the relationship between Hunter and Candace? The reason it hasn't been brought up is because it's difficult to talk about it when Hunter's a child. And you don't want to talk about it with the child. You're talking about it in an adult way, applying it to an overall problem here at hand. Yeah, Dudley Ajan said it as well. He was a witness to it. It's a common theme amongst everybody.
He said that you're really Sherry, that she's really
Really?
me.
Did you see it?
And then I'm like, no, that's
When
not
did she
the
do
case.
that?
And they're like, how do you know? Do you know this kind of family? Yeah, but it's like over 20 years. Yeah, I know this family.
My kids are attached to dogs.
You watch all the stuff.
My
And
granddaughters
happens with Chris
are
McDana.
animal
Did you
lovers.
enjoy?
Yeah. I'm an animal lover. I saw your kitty right there, and it's like,
Yeah, look, twisted that.
so she would give Summer, Candace would give Summer drugs and alcohol.
I know alcohol comes out.
Did Don get?
So, listen, friends, why again do we give 5-year-olds alcohol? And how is it that you can't consider that an aggravating factor and a criminal factor in child abuse? The only reason Candace is going to give Summer alcohol is to put her to sleep, to control her, especially around the 5:30 hour when she wants to start boozing herself. That's when her parenting schedule is done. Shift over. All of this going on, how is it that Allison can then go and maintain this friendly relationship with Dawn and Candace, knowing about the abuse that's going on up there at the hill? Isn't it fucking mind-numbing? But you can't ignore that question here. The answers to all of her questions are in the things that Allison never really wanted to talk about, and she doesn't want to admit. And she ends up getting into an argument with everybody else, Grandbun and Sherry, here in front of the cameras about it. And you could see the anal retentiveness.
Don gave Candace drugs and alcohol too.
I think that they,
Like
it's really basic.
the boys too, everybody.
Oh, completely different. Absolutely.
Can I ask you?
And I think that
Did-
that was the case. Is that
You think? No,
word
no,
out
Brian.
made it
Did
Let me give you a synopsis of the things that you're going to hear in this particular interview. We're just getting in there to the 5-minute timestamp. They're talking about neglect, hygiene, and the inappropriate behavior in the home. She gave them alcohol, redacted, and the kids didn't know what was going on. There's discussion of the cemetery across the street and things Allison didn't like inside the Wells house. Strong claims of neglect. The children got a bath maybe once a week. The father would take his little girl in the shower and brought her downstairs to go to sleep one night naked, no diaper, no nothing, in front of them. Allison says she herself won't even give somebody a bath because of what she observed. House described as filthy. There's garbage on the floor. The kids are filthy. They're filthy and they stunk when they come to her house. The key theme in that portion is severe neglect, boundary violations with young children, especially Summer. Well, we already recognized one. You're talking about the alcohol. Let's stop and compound on that, friends. But they don't recognize its danger, I believe. Allison says herself, let me see, sorry, goes on to talking about the property and then no trespassing to cover up suspicions, past incidents. Allison describes the 11-acre property on the hill with a rickety-ass driveway, constant no trespassing signs and surveillance. Donnie's all about the peeping and all about the surveilling. This little girl is buried on their property, she's saying. I'm telling you guys, we are all on the same page. Why won't they let any authorities search? Well, that was a thing going on at the time. There's something, Don was sick of all the search. They already searched enough, he said. Grandmother Sherry Sherry left the state, then returned. Allison believes she didn't want to answer questions. I think that means Grandis, not Sherry. No, yeah, Grandis. She left, went back to Wisconsin. Excuse me, it has Sherry here. Mentions a past story about Candace allegedly talking about her own sister disappearing, Rose Bly, after a night out drinking. The responsibility placed on both Candace and the mother being responsible for the disappearance. Interesting. Kids, including Waylon, slept in the basement with the parents as well. 3rd-degree burn incident on the wood stove. No bathroom door. Until welfare required they have one. Don put up no trespassing signs and a drum at the end of the driveway. That's where they talked about it next. Allison describes a falling out with Candace over missing money, Candace crossing boundaries, and Candace allegedly cheating on Don. Detailed story of Candace picking up a man in his 30s at the Shell station, bringing him home, and an incident involving Allison's ex-boyfriend, Jose. You guys weren't even together. It's not a boyfriend, but we'll take it. Candace allegedly threatened to blow my head off, in quotes, Allison said. She called multiple sheriff's departments across counties to retrieve her grandchildren. That story. Direct on-camera message to Don. Keep your mouth shut. That's good. You're going to pay for what you did to not only your kids, but ours as well. Same message essentially repeated for Candace. You guys are going to pay for what you guys are doing to them. Story of Hunter's father, Andrew, and a man named Jeremy trying to take Hunter out of state after the disappearance, involving a transfer order and a reward money. Allison stopped it and involved police right away.
Do you think Candace was, or Summer was sexually molested by any way by the family? I mean, because we're hearing rumors. You do. By who? Don? Or probably the mother too. Candace. Wow.
So do you feel?
What do you feel happened to her?
said that he wasn't going to put it on. It could be TV or Facebook. Like did where she went and asked for a piece of candy. The grandmother had just came from the doctor's office that day. Probably got the pills out, and Summer went and thought probably it was a piece of candy.
I've heard a lot of negative things about Chris.
Oh, ate the pills. Ate the pills. Is that like the rumor going on like that?
One night. And it was about 3 o'clock.
At the house, you think she took that?
I came over at 2 a.m. to check on you guys, and you guys were home. Creek?
They were sleeping.
Yep, and then, whatchamacallit there, Jeffrey Dumb, he put my son's address out.
Did you ever see Candace, the mom, hit Summer?
No.
Who are you?
I'm Allison's brother.
Oh.
Oh, your brother?
I'm her mother.
Oh, your mother. Oh, what's your name?
Sherry.
Sherry. Yeah. How are you? Yeah.
They put it out there that I'm
Hunter
dead.
okay?
Who put it out there?
Candace and Donnie.
Can I ask you something? This is going to probably upset you, and I'm so sorry. That's not my intention whatsoever. It really isn't. And I just want to find out, what your thoughts are. I hate even having to ask you this, but with him going to the watering hole with Candace and her giving him alcohol, do you think that she did something with him?
No. When Candace.
You don't think so?
Wait a minute.
Her and her mother.
Candace was.
We have to stop and make note that Betty really asked the closest question to what our topic is here tonight and will be for the next foreseeable future with this case. But here is an example of the utter denial that Allison is in. Grandbun and Sherry have absolutely no problem. Even, I think that's Allison's youngest daughter, or younger daughter. Isn't that who that is? It's like Allison doesn't even acknowledge the problems that they've all been through constantly since they all met Dawn and Candace. And you don't think that Candace and the relationship with Hunter was inappropriate? Everybody else does except Allison. What the fuck is wrong in her mind that she thinks the relationship between Hunter and Candace is appropriate? Am I wrong? Anybody? Can we not identify a problem here? Candace made her a weak link. That makes Allison, in my opinion, from a parent's perspective, just as responsible as the person abusing. You're allowing this sort of abuse to go on. You wouldn't allow, there's no fucking way that you would allow Hunter to go out with his friends and go out and use your money to go and buy alcohol and nicotine and contribute to their own delinquency. But yet, you allow Candace to come pick him up and take him out and get him drunk. You talk about how he returned inebriated. You guys talk about how Summer is being administered alcohol by Candace and Dawn, the kids. But you don't see anything inappropriate going on with Hunter. Are you fucking insane? I mean, this is not a scenario, in my opinion, that's up for debate. This is why it drives me nuts at this point in time, because there's no reason for us to go any fucking further in this. Well, we have to, because you have to. But I should rephrase that. I mean, it's impossible to ignore. That's a better way to phrase it. It's impossible to ignore. There's a problem here. Probably why Candace kept you around. You're easy to manipulate. You're easy to fool. You believe everything. You're out there. You're telling Chris McDana, Allison, that on your off days, you go in and you spend your own money on Candace's kids. Voluntarily. And she still comes and steals from you. Have you seen how inappropriate the TikTok videos are of Candace and Hunter? Why is a 36-year-old woman interested in sending TikToks to a 15-year-old? Would that be okay for a teacher to do, Allison? No, the teacher would be fired. She would be out like Ninchi True Crime, like Joss Larkins. Out of here. Fired. That's crossing a boundary. So how the hell is it okay in Allison's life? And it just so happens that Allison is the person who trumps everybody else's opinion. So Sherry and Grandbun can't influence her. It can't influence her. There's a communication breakdown. They're all at odds. They've all been at odds. And the children are being harmed because of it, Allison. What you're calling not letting your petty beefs get in the way of the children is your own justification. But what it's really doing is you've convinced yourself that harm is good. That would be harmful to your family. Why? What is it that Allison got out of this relationship? What's in this relationship for you? What makes you feel good about your relationship with Don and Candace Wells? Anything? I don't expect an answer because I'm talking into a microphone by myself, but believe me, there's nothing. It's all negative, and it's caused them nothing but problems. What they're expressing is their exhaustion through fighting them, because Don and Candace together are a good team of evildoers. That's what they've proven to the world over the past 5 years. Through all kinds of different ways. Specifically calls of threats, intimidation. They don't care if it's public. Open endorsement of their own debauchery. And you can see how talented Don is, because every time it gets a little inconvenient for him, he can spin and use prison religion at will. That's a weapon. He can bullshit easily. And he's got a long history amongst his peers of fucking them over in a professional setting and a personal setting. There are no friends.
Actually, probably.
Do you think that she did something with him?
No.
Betty asked, do you think that she did something with him sexually? Which is different than technically inappropriate, but that would be inappropriate too. But you overlooked all of the other the inappropriate nature of them even being together in the first place.
Candace.
You don't think so?
Wait a minute.
Her and her mother.
Candace was sexually probably did do something to Hunter.
No, she did not.
Bullshit. I seen it with my own eyes. There was signs there. I didn't like it. I warned them. I backed the fuck up. Yeah, be in denial, but the truth hurts.
I think they were.
I think they were too, because she gave them alcohol and shit, and the kid didn't know what was going on, and
Because that was the sentiments of the neighbors there, that she was a sexual deviant.
A neighbor.
All of the neighbors up around 110 Ben Hill Road consider Candace Wells to be a sexual deviant. They dropped Hunter off that day fucking drunk. You just let a child predator groom your child. That is a trick of child predators from coast to coast. Pole to pole. Holy shit. but she answered it honestly. She refuses to believe it's inappropriate. It shows you how thick she is, how fooled she is. I'm not even saying stupid, but yes, it's stupid. But it shows you how conditioned she is, how Dawn and Candace have her in the palm of her hand, manipulated, being fucked over. And denial. And then it comes in, Susie Mack, you'd start talking about all the Grand Bun and Sherry and Allison all fight amongst one another too. So the more that they fight, the more of a bias they build up against the topic. And before you know it, they're hardline defending the people that are abusing them or fucking them over. True Stockholm Syndrome.
So that's the only reason. I didn't mean to upset you, Cam. I didn't. But that was the reason I was asking that.
It bothers me too. He's my grandson.
We all went, oh my God, like that.
Yeah.
Right at the car.
Who's your grandson?
Right up,
Hunter.
Oh, Hunter. Oh, yeah.
How's
Hunter doing?
Now, she'll come back out and talk to us.
How's Hunter doing?
I don't think she ever went to plant
He's
flowers.
really messed up.
I don't know. No one could witness that she was up there planting
And
flowers.
a lot of it has to do with them.
I agree. I agree with you. And you know what? Enough is enough. It's been... I'm sorry?
It makes me mad.
It doesn't take long.
It's been 6 months.
Let's not forget the reason why Don had his initial Facebook account banned from the platform, because of his threats and the things that he was saying online about Hunter. That was a major factor in it, and all the crap that he was posting. They were outwardly posting things on Facebook, announcing and intimidating you guys, because it would have been lighting up your own personal Facebooks. It'd be hard to ignore. It's a tool that they use to manipulate you. And they've got you pulled into this thing. And it's like they're getting you back for whatever ongoing problems from what you think is the fallout and the last time that you cut ties with them. They're still planning on how they're getting you guys back. And then she sends Hunter a text on June 15th. That's how this occurred according to their very own information. But they're in denial, right? Especially Allison. And Allison is the weak point in the family. And they used Hunter. They encouraged Hunter, told Hunter, warmed him up, came over and picked him up, fed him full of booze and nicotine. Fuck, why didn't you take him out for a nice meal? If you cared about the kid, why didn't you buy him a new backpack? Why didn't you buy him some socks? But you come out, you steal money, you don't have enough. You historically have been buying her kid's stuff, and she comes over and picks Hunter up and buys him beer and really expensive vape nicotine pods to get him high and buzzed. That's quite the bond that they're building. A 36-year-old promiscuous woman that stinks. Would that be okay? Would it be okay for a teacher to do that? No. Grounds for dismissal. There's a boundary violation there. Candace is Allison's friend, not Hunter's friends. It's not Summer asking Candace to get into the car and go over and pick Hunter up so she can have a piggyback ride. That's you guys finding justification and excuses in your own minds, normalizing this abnormal relationship that you have with this family. Imagine telling the world all about the debauchery up there and still not recognizing how you're being used by them and they're in the picture. Why would these assholes even be over there at your house in the first place? They're lucky I didn't come out and punch them in the face. Now you've got Hunter driving off in the passenger seat.
It's been 6 months, and
And I
why?
think that baby
Somebody
was
goes
up there
under
somewhere.
You do.
They are not under very
On the
it
land.
matters about how
Or
much
out to the
water
dump.
you get in your
They have
lungs.
access to the
and you
goddamn
get
water in your lungs,
dump or whatever.
Where's that at?
I don't
You
know.
know, and what's to say she didn't hit her head?
What about that cemetery across the street from them? You ever been in the house?
Yes.
You been up there?
Yeah.
I
There were
very
certain
much
things I
believe
didn't like,
that
so I
these
just cut my
children were
ties.
unsupervised.
Like what? What didn't you like?
In
We're
Los
giving the
Angeles.
kids
We're
alcohol.
also told by
Yeah.
the same neighbor
that.
that these children got a bath maybe once a week.
Is the house? Is that?
That's so fucking credible. How could you possibly ignore it? Sherry again mentions that it left such an impression on her she couldn't get past and ignore it. She cut ties with her. How come that's not an unconditional with everybody around there? It's mind numbing. I take a moment of silence for Summer Wells. That way we can sit and wonder exactly why and what motivation Don and Candace had to give a 3 or 4 or 5-year-old child, Summer Wells, alcohol.
It would take the little girl in the shower and brought her downstairs to go to sleep one night naked, no diaper, no nothing.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like Ryan won't even give Addie a bath. Like
I'm sorry.
too many things can be said
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
So like my daughter's father won't even give her a bath because this
But
is
when
What's
I
their-
was-
what's their
that's what I
house
tell
look like
people. When
inside?
I
Is
was
it a
growing up,
mess?
nobody thought anything of it, but with all
Did you
the-
see like
dirty. It was
what did you
nuisance.
see all over the
Now
place?
it's like you go a day without
Clothes,
hearing it.
garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah, they're all just ignoring it there, Susie Mac. Everybody's just ignoring it. Well, I don't think they secretly are. They're just progressing a conversation. It seems like everybody, Hunter's family, are ignoring it. I agree. But again, look a little bit past that in a bit when they start to bicker amongst themselves and you can see their relationship. It's troubled. Troubled in that maybe fighting and bickering is how they solve things. It's just normal in that environment. They all live together, remember?
On the floor and stuff.
Can somebody go get Kim?
How many
Sorry,
dogs they got?
Sorry, I wasn't trying. I don't think she was that bad at. Yeah, because she was at
She's
her
mad
mom.
at me.
Yeah, she was mad at her. But that's mother-daughter thing. Don't worry about that.
No, but they say if they do it to her on her phone.
Who? Okay, let me ask you something. Do you believe the kidnapping theory?
Watching her daughter cheerlead with her daughter's boyfriend. And
If
Meep,
if it
don't come in
was,
here talking like that.
Who could have
posted on
kidnapped?
Facebook, like she
I mean,
can't
do they have
be
any like
happy
enemies who?
her is
Probably, I don't know, but
like she's
it-
supposed to stay inside that like
that's-
somebody.
But she has
No.
nothing to do with it. She's a.
It just doesn't make sense, right?
she's
Like a
hunted
kidnap.
around.
We went there and we saw all around Beach Creek up to Ben Hill, and it's that 11 acres there, up on top of the hill. How
They
could
got a lot
somebody?
of acres too.
Yeah, but how could somebody just come out of the middle of nowhere and say, "Hey, we're gonna go
How
kidnap"?
can the little girl, okay, the cellar, all right, in the basement, go out the door and somebody kidnap her? First of all, you gotta go up a goddamn rickety ass driveway,
with her mom and her
you know, and all
So I
that.
find it odd. I find
There's no way.
personally find it odd that they constantly go to that
Good to see you,
flower
Amy.
bed to justify why that was there, and it just kind of gives you the EBG. Yeah, EBGBs about it.
Yeah.
Would you mind going and getting Kim so we can just? Allie. Oh, is her name Allie? Get it, Allie. I'm sorry. What did I call Kim? I'm sorry.
Well, hopefully, they're held accountable. I mean, it's sick what you do though. You know, it's a child. Does a lot of people know about that around here? This case, like, is it talked about or just it is? We were.
Social media blew it all. It's all over.
Has media came and talked to you at all? Did any media come talk to you? Any media come talk to you? No. Oh, they talked. What about police? Did police come there? They did. TBI? Or-
I don't know.
Oh, I can only imagine. But you have to understand.
I know that,
And it's not Hunter's fault. And Allie, you guys are victims too. Allie, I just want you to know that. You guys are victims of this nonsense too. You don't deserve
what?
what's going on.
You know,
I know she's mad at me, Ma.
I'm Molly Golightly, and I have one of the biggest voices in the YouTube community. If there's anything that you want to say, please say it. just say it now, and I promise that that message will be heard loud and clear.
Don was on mother and grandmother knows where that baby is. And
God bless.
probably the father does too.
What were you gonna say?
Don was on YouTube the other night. I had a lady text message me on Facebook. She even went through some of my friends list, and she got a hold of my sister in New York and everything.
Yeah, Mike.
Don was on Facebook, and he said, well, YouTube, and he said that my 12-year-old daughter even said her name and what we called her.
I heard it. Has a badass body.
Has a body from fucking hell.
Yes, we have that.
And
She's 12.
I do know.
Ziggy sent it to me.
So when you heard that, what happened? Like, what was your thoughts when you heard that? You were like,
Fucking sick motherfucker, something needs to happen.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I mean, we can catch charges. That's it. Like, no grown ass man needs to be talking about a 12-year-old like that.
And I know that he also even gave Bear alcohol because he gave my grandkids alcohol and did something to them.
who?
Donnie.
Donnie did something to your grandkids? What did Donnie do to your grandkids?
Molested them probably.
When?
When we used to hang up there and they used to stay the night, but I stayed the night once up there, didn't like it, and didn't. But the kids, I thought she was supposed to be with
Mom, I love you.
Did you see bruises on them or on your?
They had bruises. They said that the kids were always all fooling around.
But Don, you're saying Don Wells gave your grandkids alcohol?
That's what the little one says.
That's what what's your little one's name?
Michelle.
Michelle. How old is Michelle?
She's 9 now.
She's not. When was this? How old was she?
Well, could you fucking believe what it is that you're hearing? There's cereal. So there's 2 other kids that are 7 and 9 now who were roughly around Summer's age, 6, when you're talking about Donnie giving them booze and taking advantage of them. Holy fucking hell. The kids that she's talking about, her grandkids right now, are 7 and 9 now. And you talk about 3 years ago, minus 3 years or 2 years off of that. Because it happened over a year ago, I'm expecting. That's just one thing that we know. There's more. Like, I mean, I'm fucking mind blown. How is it that Allison could even not think that there is anything inappropriate considering what Sherry, her mother, is sitting there telling her? It doesn't make me wonder why there's no charges is because they didn't follow up. They all they do was call Children's Aid and the police on one another. They're already involved in the allegation portion of it. Like that's what was leading up to that June 15th situation. That's part of the overall disagreement between families.
Then. How old was she
What
then?
about, you said about 7, 8?
But listen,
7 or 8?
not only, who cares? If you're a parent and that's your suspicion, because you saw it with your own eyes, you don't need any charges to know what to do from that point forward in protecting your family. Allison just doesn't care. She seems not to care about it. You would think that an allegation like that would be something that she would listen to. Oh, that's your business. But it tells me that she's just as much of a debaucherous individual as Candace. She alleges Candace is.
And she said that Don gave her alcohol?
I don't have
Oh my gosh.
It's my
my
great
God.
But when
She has
CPS went to
custody
go and
that is in a mental institution, and she's been there since March.
oh yeah, she ain't getting out anytime soon.
But
either.
when Jeremy,
What about did Don give him drugs? You think?
Probably.
What kind of drugs? Like what would it be? Like,
I have to sit on the porch.
I know
well,
weed.
Not now, but in the summer.
I don't know if it's the other shit that they smoke.
what about
All these
who's her name?
people go
Grandis?
over there.
Mother?
Candace.
No, what about the mother? Her mother.
Her mother's name was Candace too.
Did you ever meet her?
There.
Yeah, I don't like her.
Why?
My kids can't even have a life. Like,
You see her do drugs ever? Drink?
No, she just popping pills. Her
so you're
pills.
being harassed.
Popping pills. Did you ever see her hit any children?
She
My son was
threatened
in school. He was getting
that if they
harassed
didn't
every day
listen,
from
she was
kids
gonna
in
whoop
school.
their
So
ass.
locals are harassed.
But I heard that she did hit him.
Oh, she did. Who'd you hear that from?
The kid, her kid.
I don't get on
Her kids?
Like,
Oh, her kids. Wow.
My kid.
But I just
Think
wanna
she?
let
You
guys
think
know,
she
you
was
guys
part
are
of this?
people
Like she
that's
covered up or
nonsense too,
something?
and, you know,
I think she
we
was
do
involved
care
with
about you guys,
something
you
happened.
know? And we're
Yeah.
sorry everything's going.
The mother, the
going on.
grandmother.
It's not fair.
I
It's
think
that
just,
little
father-
girl is buried on their property.
that's
I-
what we've
I
been
swear
saying,
to
too.
God
Guys,
that-
I'm telling you guys, we are all on the same page.
Why else won't
Allie.
why won't they let any authorities on
How
their
many?
property to search?
Don't they own like
If it was my
40
kid,
acres?
I'd be like, have at it, people.
Yeah. If you got nothing to
Matter of
hide,
fact, he put no trespassing signs all over the trees
Yeah.
around the house. Oh, this is under surveillance, trespassing. No one can come on my property. He doesn't even want packages going up to his thing. He has a drum at the as a driveway at 110.
Garbage.
Yeah, and he doesn't want anybody.
Allowed to leave state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why was she allowed?
The grandmother
they're
left
not
state.
allowed to- None of them are allowed
Who?
to leave the
I'm
I'm
state.
sure she
Michigan.
wasn't allowed, but I remember she took off because she didn't want to answer questions because she's been through
Then
this
she came
before.
back.
Candace's
Yeah.
mother, Candace.
And
With
her daughter,
Grandis.
Rosemary Blind,
That's what they call her, Grandis.
Candace's sister,
Went missing.
Yeah,
went missing.
that's
And I know
crazy.
where that girl's buried because they told me a story one night that where they used to live, it was a cement driveway. Her kids were 3 and 4 and said, Mommy's there, Mommy's there. Why didn't they ever went
Where would that be?
there?
Like, where was that at?
Wisconsin or whatever.
In
Wisconsin.
Yeah,
That's probably
wherever.
why she's gone from Wisconsin.
Kansas got really drunk one night and said my sister was supposed to meet someone at a bar, her friend, and
Yep.
she never made it. That's what she said. And she
Who
first
would
met-
have been responsible for her sister's death? The mom or Candace?
Both probably. Or Candace anyway, because I know Candace didn't
Which
get
one?
along. The daughter.
Okay.
Do you think CPS should ever put the boys back in that house?
No, not at all. Please, no.
No. I appreciate your passion because
No.
it seems like you know, and you know.
Those kids come here in the summer before summer died. They're filthy, and so is the mother.
They didn't.
The
They didn't
littlest
ever cook
one,
dinner.
wait a
They
minute.
always ate frozen pizza and whatever else.
The little one, Waylon, he showed up here and he had a 3rd-degree burn on his
Oh
arm.
wait a minute. Yeah, on a wood stove down there in the basement. She
Not
showed
here.
me that
Not here.
he
Yeah,
got
it
burnt.
was
Never
Down
took him
the
to the
basement where
hospital.
Candace or Summer
Was
slept?
missing. Yeah.
Where they all slept. The
They
boys
all
that
slept
did-
down there.
She
All
had
the
them
kids slept
there.
down in that
there.
basement?
The
All in
ba-
one room?
Yeah.
Summer slept with mommy and daddy in the bed.
They didn't even have a door on the bathroom.
No.
Now they do because
No.
welfare says she has to have one. They sectioned that whole part off.
Yeah, they sectioned that up.
Yep.
Yeah.
That
'Cause
was
we
like,
went up there-
Chris, whatever his name is, there. When he did her interview with her, she took him through her nasty house.
'Cause when she got her taxes, she came down to my house and wanted me to go out with her. So I went and I said she wanted us to go up and visit, but the kids wanted to see the dogs, and so I only did it for the kids' sake, and that's when she had the bathroom petitioned off. But
It's sad. It's sad, and we want answers. I mean, we want answers. We want to find her.
I want to know what happened to her.
Yeah.
We want to know.
Because she was
The
over here and you guys loved
mother
her. And
we loved her like she was our own.
Yeah.
I tried to help with the kids and everything.
Yeah.
I let them spend the night at my house, gave them a fully cooked meal. They would take showers.
Their own little sister. Like,
TBI speak to you?
yeah.
What'd they say? Like, what were they asking?
They
Just went over the.
Did that day what happened?
Yeah. They
Before.
wouldn't tell us anything.
They weren't close nothing, but
How many TBI?
Yo, Taze.
first time it was.
Bobby was here.
Well, that was later on that night. That was.
Bobby's a police guy.
Let's see. The first time they came over, there was 2, and then I got another phone call, and they came back.
Yeah, that was late.
No, that was when I was getting ready to go to work. Remember? Leslie was here. She had to leave. And they were gonna point me for that day, and she said, "Don't you dare." And then I was gonna go to work. Mom was gonna bring me, and late, and they came back.
And then that guy that tried to kidnap Hunter.
Yep.
Who tried to kidnap Hunter?
Jeremy Duggan.
Yeah. Yeah,
He worked with bikers against. No, Georgia. He
Bikers against trafficking, human trafficking.
yeah. And child abuse. And
So why did he try to kidnap Hunter?
Hunter's father had reached out to him, I guess, and was concerned for my son's safety.
Because of this Wells incident.
But he didn't care until
It's freezing out here.
he didn't care until there was a reward out for summer. And then him and Jeremy came up with an idea to come up and get Hunter. And I was at the football field when I read it on Facebook, plain as day. Jeremy Duggan left the thing saying that his name and everything. He had a transfer order to transfer my child from Tennessee to New York. I panicked. I went to the police department. They told me if anyone shows up, call them. They'd be right over it.
Now they
Well, no one
like
showed up
40
that night.
acres of land.
So I went to work. Grandma was here with the kids.
11.2.
Well, I think there's more than that.
Grandma was here with the kids.
One time she said that
I'm on my lunch break.
they owned over
And I
like
get
30
my phone's going blast.
acres of land.
Ballistic.
We
I
went
mean,
on a
ballistic.
couple
I
different
got
parts
people
where they
calling.
used to ride the boys used to ride
Hunter
the
just
dirt
sent me a
bikes.
snapshot of this. They're on their way.
And there's a
They're
lot
on
of
their
wood.
way.
There's a big
I
old
didn't even
garage
clock
down
out
there.
from work.
now.
I said, I got a family emergency. Bye.
What about that shed at the
And
bottom of their hill? What is
Called
that?
Grandma up. So listen,
They-
someone's going to get you and
At
Hunter.
the bottom of the hill. I've never
In the
been in
car.
that one.
The beach hill right there.
But
Where,
if you go down the road a little bit,
That's
And I
gotta
said-
be nerve-wracking for you guys.
that's where they
Look at me the breakdown of the next little bit. Maybe we'll skip to the minute 29:57. We'll skip over them talking about the Dr. Phil appearance, the lack of searching, and the night of the disappearance. So, excuse me. The night that Summer disappeared, Candace called Allison drunk and said Summer walked out of the house. Allison hung up on her, believing she was lying or drunk. Candace never said someone took Summer, only that she walked out. 29-minute mark, Allison says Dawn did not go to work that day. Candace came out and picked up Hunter only, saying, "We are going fishing. I want to take Summer fishing." The boys were supposedly in Gatlinburg because Grandma had a knee injury, the way that she's talking. They dropped Hunter back off at Allison's at 2:30. Allison was at a football field. Her phone was dead. Her son called Leslie's phone to say Summer was missing. Allison initially thought Candace was pulling my leg, she says, or drunk. She saw the Amber Alert on Facebook while she was at a cookout and realized it was real. Imagine Allison being at a cookout. Called Candace. She said Candace had no tears, no emotion. Her windows were rolled up. She says Candace's story to her was that they came home after they dropped Hunter off. They came home and planted flowers. Could you ever, first of all, with everything that you see around that house, can you see them out doing yard work, beautification work, or even engaging with their kids in a positive way, that they came home to plant flowers? Well, where the fuck are all the flowers around the house to begin with? There are none. Not even those half-dead cacti in that rock and weed little plastic bin. It's ridiculous. Oh, you just came home because you're that type of person. You're not even that type of people. is what I'm getting at. Fucking planting flowers because you're so concerned about the aesthetics around the place. Fucking ridiculous. So they came home and planted flowers. Grandma Candace was in her trailer. Summer wanted candy and went to Grandma's trailer. Then wanted to play with the boys. Went into the house. Notice that she never did play with the boys. She went down into her basement, she claims. None of this actually happened. Candace went to the camper to fix Grandma's bandage. She later checked on the boys and said Summer was in the basement playing. The door to the basement was always shut and locked, with a couch in front of it downstairs, that door. Now, Allison finds multiple parts suspicious. The no emotion, the timeline gaps, the locked basement door that was supposedly always secured. Hunter told his girlfriend's mother-in-law, this is why I'm eager to get to timestamp 25. Hunter told his girlfriend's mother that Candace gave him alcohol that day. The twisted tea or similar. Hunter was not himself. He was scared shitless, rocking back and forth. He shut down completely. Allison had to physically get him out of his room and called TBI again. Later that night and that day, Candace and Grandis allegedly showed up and re-interviewed, questioned Hunter about what he had told the TBI. Allison was in the bathroom and couldn't intervene immediately. Can you fucking believe this? The key theme here was Hunter was allegedly given alcohol by Candace on the day Summer vanished. He was traumatized afterward. And the family allegedly tried to control the narrative.
Used to ride the dirt bikes, the boys, and there's a garage there, and there was like, oh,
on the porch.
Yeah, I had to call the sheriff's department to go up there and get my kids because that morning she threatened to blow my head off.
yeah.
Oh, Candace did?
Yeah.
She threatened to blow your head off?
Because I told her mother came in because she had to bring me to work. Candace and her mom got in an argument over Jose.
Because Candace's mother wanted Jose
Because
too.
Candace's mom wanted Jose. Yes.
Yeah, and there was nothing.
And he politely told her where to go.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Are you with Jose anymore?
Hell no.
What's Jose's last name?
I don't even remember.
Where's he from?
Nobody remembers. We talked about this like a while
So did you
back.
call the police here on them when she threatened to blow your head off? Or did you call the police?
No, I went to work and I gave her till 11 o'clock, gave her mom gas money to bring my kids back to my mother or my grandmother's. They didn't. And said, all right, now we're going to play. You want to play games? I called Kingsport City Police Department. They told me how to call.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Michelle. Candace is much more violent and aggressive than she lets on to be. Hearing all of these stories about the Walmart blow-up threats, boys, hot. Believe me, you should hear her in the background when Dawn's making all these threatening phone calls to people. That was what surprised me. See, early on, Chris McDonough got a nasty phone call from Dawn and Candace that I've got on private. I upload it the odd time. But you can hear in the background her endorsement of the anger and rage that's coming out of her towards Chris McDonough on the phone. You got to see the real Candace and Dawn in that phone call. They're desperately trying to control the narrative, and they thought Chris McDonough was going to be their stool pigeon, and they raged when Chris really put them on blast for being sexual deviants, being freaks, and it being a factor in this situation. Oh, they lost it.
Sullivan County Sheriff's Department. Called Sullivan County. They told me I had to call Hawkins County. So I had to go meet Hawkins County up at the church. And they had to go up and get with my mother and get the kids.
So you did make a police report?
Yeah. No.
Well, I don't
You
know.
called them.
Sullivan County or whatever
Yeah.
county there they were.
When was this? When
there.
did this happen?
September.
About a year ago now.
Oh, a year ago. Okay.
Let me ask you, like you were just saying just a little bit ago that, you know, if your child was missing, you'd be beating the pavement. How often has Candace and Don went out searching for their daughter that you guys know about?
I don't. All I know is about the times like I know they were down here in the summertime parade because we almost hit Candace. on the way to work.
They,
What do you mean?
With the car?
but they never had any pictures of.
What, was she unattended or
She was probably
something?
drunk. No.
No, they were walking in the parade and she was walking and she was walking for her.
But yeah, but how often have you heard of them actually going out, passing out
None.
flyers, asking
None.
questions,
She
finding
was-
out?
They never had
That's
any
what
pictures
They
in the
were holding
beginning.
a prayer vigil over here in Borden Park.
So do you know what bothers me about this? Just a bit of a side note, friends. When we're talking about how I think we can all agree how much in denial and lost Allison is, especially when it comes to the inappropriate nature of Hunter even being there in the first place. Now think about that level of denial and how she's protecting. She has a certain narrative, which isn't close to the same truth as Sherry's or Grand Bun's. And it's not close to the truth. We've just witnessed part of it. Now, imagine Chris McDana just got done interviewing Allison. They interviewed Allison and Hunter previous to this, like a year before this. And not only has all their tunes have changed towards it for whatever reason, but what I'm saying is that Allison, while she was at that table, nobody knew, and were basing the things that they thought were true at the time off of the things that she was bringing up, which were, if anything, omitted the reality of the inappropriate nature of the relationship between them in the first place. We got a sneak peek into it, but she's in total denial. She's not talking about the alcohol like it should be talked about and everything. Why? Because it's a factor that day with Hunter, and they're trying to avoid, if anything, getting everybody into trouble and making something out of it. And they're trying to distance themselves from it being related to Summer there in the moment, which is a great injustice because it has everything to do with what happened to Summer that day. Remind me again why Don and Candace, or anyone for that matter, gives a 5-year-old child alcohol. And if it's considered a medical emergency, no matter the amount, anytime a child gets alcohol in their system, why it's not attempted murder. You're poisoning your child. She's got a history of violence and doing strange things to her kids to keep them under control, including alcohol. This is commonly known throughout different groups of individuals that don't know one another. These are their observations, as well as the neighbor allegations and eyewitnesses of the being, well, specifically sexually inappropriate with their kids up there, yet they still let Hunter go out there and hang out. Hunter is engaged in this behavior as well. Let's not even forget. Let's talk about Andrew Hiltz for a little bit, my buddy. I love Andrew and everything. We've gotten to know him, but I still haven't, forgotten. Andrew was leading a bit of a debaucherous lifestyle in his own right. Of course, I'm going on just to the words that he brought us. He first came out to the internet wearing his fedora and no shirt, with his earrings and his teeth falling out, drinking fucking Mountain Dew, talking about how great of a blowjob he could give, how high priced and how much money he could get from just hustling and pimping out his own badass self to the world. You think I'm kidding you? No, I'm not, dude. You know that how Andrew came out. He was so shocking and crazy. What I'm getting at is it's a window into the types of lifestyles in which Hunter's parents live, Andrew and Allison. So imagine that when they're 10 years ago, when they're kind of still together and Hunter's still young, they're in the height of this debaucherous lifestyle where he's selling his ass. He's the most bisexual dude out there. He was even thinking about getting his own set of breasts. And then his wife changed him for the better. She finally hit him into some sense. But that's not a lie. I'm not lying, Andrew. So what I'm saying is it's probably being overlooked because Allison herself, for example, is engaged in the same exact behavior, or not far off. I'm not saying necessarily the administration of alcohol to young children, but I'm saying the other inappropriate, questionable boundaries, inappropriate acts in front of kids. I mean, let's take a look at it for what it is. Nothing against you guys, but you're talking about them because you once had a friendship with them. This great friendship where you guys all considered one another just like family, kids and everything. You just blended your family in and enjoyed each other's company until you started realizing that you were being used, each and every one of you, including your kids. And then you slowly, one at a time, start to realize because of your experiences that you're being victimized. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's understandable that they may not recognize. I'm not trying to judge them, but if you're friends with those types of people to begin with, I could spot these motherfuckers a mile away. There wouldn't be any chance of me ever being a friend with Don and Candace Wells. I would never even fucking consider it. Okay, I don't get fooled into situations like that. I'm not desperate for a friend in that sense, I guess. Like Allison was, or Sherry. That doesn't mean I think I'm better than you. What I'm saying is I'm trying to highlight or have some sort of answer to why it is that she has denial and is refusing to acknowledge it, because at some level, at one time they were friends, and it's speaking about yourself to a degree. So she's not wanting to admit her faults. And she has faults. I'm not even talking about overeating. Like you said yourself, Allison, you found yourself in your off time using the money that you worked for, that your own kids desperately need. You could be spending on your own family, and all you could do is go and buy things at work for her kids specifically. She's got you doing things for her, and on top of that, she's stealing money from you while you're hurting. Your family is in desperate need of that money and can use that money. So she has questionable boundaries. I don't think there's many boundaries there, but the people that she allows in her life or she gets involved in end up using her in that sense.
Park somewhere.
Yeah,
Like
because
once
me
a
and
week.
Joe were up there at a birthday party.
Okay, so they were just holding visuals. They weren't actually looking for her.
Mm.
I haven't seen anything about them out here looking for that baby.
The night that
What about the church they go to, that seventh day? Yeah, what about that 7-day Adventist
I don't
church?
know about that church. I don't know
the
nothing
night
about
that she went missing, she
Because the whole time I hung
called.
out with her,
Candace
she never
called
said
me up
anything about
about
church.
So they weren't really holy
1 o'clock in the morning
around
or
them.
something like
Even
that.
seems like an
I
act.
said, Sherry, she's gone. I go,
It seems
what?
like an
What
act.
are you talking
And I was
about,
up there for
Candace?
most of the
You're
summer.
drunk. She goes,
So they weren't
Summer's
regular
gone.
parishioners at the
She's
church.
missing.
They went
She
once
walked
in a
out of the
while,
house.
but definitely
I
not
said,
regular.
what the hell?
She said she walked out of the house. Summer walked out of the house.
Pulled us
Whoa!
aside
She didn't say somebody took her out of the house.
She
You
said
have
she
to
walked
realize
out of the
that
house.
these people are
She walked out of the
evil.
house. That's what Candace told you
Even
that
people
night,
violent.
1 in the
And
morning.
They could hear
What else she said?
Screaming regularly.
That was about it because I hung up on her.
Oh, you
Yes.
hung up on her. So she said Summer
Summer
walked out of the house.
That was you.
Yeah, she goes,
Well, I didn't
she
see
was
him do it.
downstairs in the
She said they
basement.
just
She opened
saw
up the
you.
door
Yeah, remember he
and
cursed me
just
out? That was
walked
because
out.
I asked him when's Summer's birthday. That was
That
me.
was you.
That's
Interesting.
me. That was me.
Interesting.
That was you.
I'm bullhorn, Betty.
Would you like to come on their channels and speak sometime, exchange information?
Oh, you're
We
not
should get
supposed
your
to?
message out.
we're not even supposed to talk to you.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Well,
That would've been, it would be nice. Maybe once this all wraps up, you guys can, because you guys are victims
You
too.
guys were really
Once
nice.
it all ends, my statements will be heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
do you expect it to be end soon?
No.
Did she give you a creepy vibe?
Yes, because she wanted Allie to be her daughter because her daughter was dead. She was trying to edge her away from me. Now, she's my oldest grandchild, you know. And we've always been close.
She did draw a wedge between me and Ellie, but I never, like,
But it sounded like
you know, I was there for Ellie.
So let me ask you something. Do you think Don Wells went to work? Did he go to work that day?
We don't know. We don't know.
You don't know.
No, for sure.
She came here,
In the morning.
picked up Hunter about 10:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
and these were her words: "We're gonna go fishing. I want to take Summer fishing.
Not the boys.
Not the boys. No boys were with her.
Just the stupid grandmother.
Grandma's in the hospital because the boys were in Gatlinburg and the boys kicked her in her bad knee.
Oh, she has an iron knee or something. You know what I'm saying.
She had knee replacement.
A bum knee, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's
She
just
had all that medication.
it's just Hunter and Summer,
really.
What's
Yeah.
gonna
She
happen?
had
They're
all
going to a
that
public place to
medication
go
from the
fishing.
hospital that they
That's like
picked
his
up
little
after.
sister. Just because me and Candace had issues doesn't mean I'm gonna stop the kids from seeing one another. It's stupid. So they dropped Hunter back off here at 2.
What? Did I just fucking hear? Is that you explaining this away? Hold on, let me rewind that just a second.
It's
She
just
had all that medication.
it's just Hunter and Summer,
Really.
What's
Yeah.
gonna
She
happen?
had
They're
all
going to
that
a public place to
medication
go
from the
fishing.
hospital that they
That's like
picked
his
up
little
after.
sister. Just because me and Candace had issues doesn't mean I'm gonna stop the kids from seeing one another. It's-
See, there you go. Just because Allison and Candace were having issues, you weren't going to let that keep the kids from seeing one another. Do you guys see the problem here? Who put that in your head? Is that what Candace said to you before she went and exploited your 15-year-old child? Did Don let you know before he fed your kids filled with alcohol? And your mom's or your other children too? Yeah, she said, well, they're all in a public place. What's going to happen? Right. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? They were in a public place and he still came back drunk. It's almost like she repeated what the predator, told the parent before they steal the child right out of their hands. Who convinced you of that? What law? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. That's you not instilling boundaries. You said you cut them off a long time ago. All of a sudden, 6 months later, out of nowhere, they come pulling up asking if Hunter can go fishing communicating with Hunter before you going around your back? And you think your 15-year-old wants to go out of his way to go and visit Summer. 15-year-olds don't want to go visit 5-year-olds, and 5-year-olds don't usually want to go and hang out with 15-year-olds that often. There's not really any reason to. Maybe while the parents are doing something, maybe they're tagging along with the parents. She's offering up her justification. She recognizes it as probably wrong, but she can't really figure out why it's wrong. So she's offering up this cheap kind of scapegoat, making her seem like the bigger person, like the bigger, more knowledgeable, experienced individual, able to not prevent the kids from wanting to get together. What are you, fucked? You just failed the babysitting exam, Allison. Jesus, cheese and rice.
It was stupid. So they dropped Hunter back off here at 2:30. They're parked right in front of that.
With this pole?
Yep, facing this way.
Facing which way?
This way.
This way. Oh, interesting.
The way she always did.
Like she owns the road.
At 2:30.
Okay. At 2:30 p.m.
And then that's it.
What
But
was
you
your
don't know. She never said that. You don't know if Don actually went to work that day or not.
What was your reaction when you found out Summer is officially missing?
I thought it was. I thought she was lying to me because I thought she was drunk, and I told her that, and she goes, "No, she's gone."
I was at the football field. My phone was dead. It was in Leslie's van charging. So my son called Leslie's phone. I said, "Mom's got to call Candace. Summer's missing." I said, "Stop playing with me. She's just."
Yeah, it's probably, you're right, Michelle, because she probably hears what I just did to her all the time. It's totally A-base. She has to minimize it so it doesn't sound so bad at the time. You're right. That's exactly what she's doing. Thank you for pulling me out of that little brain fog there. You're right. You're right on the money. She's minimizing it, and subconsciously she knows. And that's the quarry in the quarrel between Grandbun and Sherry. How could they get through, and how is it? You're making a major mistake, Allison. Thereby overlooking the obvious to you guys. So suspicious, coming out of nowhere and wanting to talk to Hunter and take him out and telling you one thing and going out and doing another. Him coming back all boozed up. They know no boundaries. You keep giving him the benefit of the doubt, and they keep getting your kids drunk. And you're talking about them getting Summer, feeding her alcohol constantly.
Just pulling my leg to get me to talk to her. And then, it's just like, and so we got in the van after football practice. We went to the cookout. Was ordering everybody food. Got on my phone, and plain as day was the emergency child alert on Facebook from Hawkins County Emergency Services. I said, "Holy shit, she's really missing."
That's when you called me.
I called my mother. I said, "Check this." I said, "Summer's missing."
And I said, "No, you're bullshit."
I said, "Yeah, it's on Facebook." So then I hung up the phone with her.
Oh.
I called Candace.
Yeah.
She didn't answer. So I tried calling her on Facebook. No answer. Tried calling her on Snapchat. She didn't answer. Used my daughter's Snapchat. Didn't answer. Came here. She called us back. No shed of tears, no nothing. I said, "What's wrong?" She goes, "Summer's missing." I go, "What do you mean?"
Summer's gone.
Summer's gone. I said, "What do you mean Summer's gone?" Like, I started interrogating her. I said, "What do you mean? I just seen you guys at 2:30 when you dropped Hunter off. What happened in between?" "Well, we came home and we planted flowers on the side of the house, and Mom was in her trailer. Summer wanted a piece of candy, so she went into Mom's trailer. Mom gave her a piece of candy. Summer wanted to go into the house and play with the boys, so I watched her go into the house to play with the boys. I went in the camper to fix Mom's bandage on her knee.
Then she went back
So
to
then
the
she went
house.
back, she goes, I went back over to the house, asked the boys if they seen Summer. They said she was downstairs in the basement playing. I said, did you look in the basement? Yeah, I tore it apart. I said, was the door shut, locked? Was it open? Because that door always stayed shut and locked.
Yeah.
And there used to be a couch in front of it. She goes, she's gone. What do you mean she's gone?
What was her? What was she? Was she crying?
No. She didn't shed a tear.
No tear.
Not one tear.
No, she faced.
She wasn't hysterical. She was
No.
just calm.
She
Did
called
you
me on the
actually
phone.
see
I seen
Summer
her
in the
face. She
car?
wasn't crying.
When they pulled up, she was
So you saw her.
She did.
Was she alive?
She was sleeping, but it was hot out that day.
And you know what we've learned too about Don and Candace over the past 5 years? That they've built a history just in that short time that we've all come to know them about pulling off, and they just love to fuck with the phones and fool people, especially over calls. Think about the people that they had come and advocate for them, and the telephone meetings that they had when Don looked like he was passed out on the couch. Think about the interview where they started fighting on Molly Golightly's. They were all hammered up and they're threatening, throwing things at each other in there. You got a good sense of the types of individuals that they really are. But think about the nasty, threatening phone calls to Josh from the lab and to Chris McDonough, to Mary Hartman, Jeannie, and there'll be others in there. There's all kinds of stuff that we don't know about. So when you hear these people recounting the day that Summer went missing and their interactions with Candace and Dawn and the phone calls that were going on that day, it seems an awful lot like they were out gaslighting people and they've got no problems, lying on the phone in the moment in order to try to impress upon them a joke or a false story in this sense. Think about what they were doing to everybody at the Seventh-day Adventist Church. They had to call in David, the flute player. They called Robin in. They needed some people that they barely knew, but specifically from church, to get up there quick as some sort of alibi because they needed moral support. They're morally injured for sure. But that particular day, you knew they have no reason to be calling everybody else in for moral support. They're just drunk and needing to act out some sort of traumatic scenario to impress upon people just how much of a victim that they all are up there. Hopefully, you think that it was a stranger abduction. But already you can see all of the inconsistencies. And you could at the time as well. But again, this is just on we'll say the post report, post incident activity. So hear nothing about molesting children, grooming children with alcohol. That would be the other reason why you give toddlers alcohol, wouldn't it, Dawn? To loosen them up, to make it easier for you to enact all your freakish fantasies upon your own daughter or other kids, like Sherry's grandkids. There's all kinds of reasons for child predators like Dawn and Candace to be utilizing alcohol on children. And that feeds back into this vicious loop of Summer having to get gone because the fight that all of these people are in has brought upon the heat from the system, the Child Protective Services, the Sheriff's Department, specifically Child Protective Services, because there's a big secret that Dawn needs to keep. And at some point in time, it's going to have to end. At some point in time, she's going to get old enough to talk and recognize what it is that's going on. He's had his fun few years. It's not ideal, but he's losing a prop that he uses. He doesn't see his children as human beings. A person who sees their children as human beings has their best intentions at heart. Dawn has nothing but filthy, debaucherous intentions, filled with alcohol, substances, allegedly molestation, crossing boundaries. He's a habitual line crosser in that sense. He's got a long history of all of this nasty type of behavior, socially immoral behavior, reprehensible behavior when it comes to specifically kids, including his very own sister Jeannie and Mary and their other sisters that haven't come forward. He's got a storied past. We have every right to sit here and bring it up and talk about it as though it's relevant to what happened to Summer that day, because you'd be a fool not to think so. Of course, it has everything to do with what happened. But no matter how they're like, don't get me wrong, Allison and Sherry aren't to blame, because no matter how bad we perceive your behavior to be or how much it crossed into being illegal, it still doesn't deserve a 5-year-old child having been murdered, killed. Why wouldn't Summer, or why wouldn't she be giving Summer, if she was out there that day drinking and getting her groove on with her 15-year-old friend that she just picked up, her love interest? Of course she gave Summer alcohol that day. Maybe it was unintended, but now we're talking in legalities. She intended to give Summer alcohol that led to her death. Now, did she intend for Summer to die, or was it unintended? Is that where the scream fits in? Is that what Jody Sue heard? No matter what, it all points back to, in my opinion, of course, Dawn Wells being caught for violating Summer. Because it would still, either way, come back onto the parents through the autopsy. But again, it's all intertwined with their conflicts with Allison, Sherry, Grandbun, Hunter. It's all intertwined. The reason that they're in the picture to begin with is because of all of the reports and talk about the activity that's going on that you heard here tonight. And that would be something that Dawn and Candace would hold against Allison, Sherry, Grandbun, or whoever else. Just like they hold a grudge against Mary Hartman. Like they hold a grudge against Chris. See, they're not wanting to be accountable for their own actions. They know how debaucherous and illegal it is.
They had the windows rolled up. It was hot.
The windows were rolled up, and I wanted to give her a hug,
No
and she
air
said I couldn't give her a hug.
So right there,
Is that suspicious to you?
I think so. Yeah. Because, you know, you heard of secondary
I
drowning,
said I
right?
always hug
Yeah.
this baby. Whenever she
Whether
heard my
she's
name.
sleeping or not.
Secondary drowning? Which is what, like,
Where you swallow
She
so
did
much
that
water and then
for
later
her
on,
husband.
if you don't get it all or something, I don't know.
She
So you're-
loved a lot of outside people that were. She was clinging onto.
Did Hunter say like anything was going on in the car? Like she was? Did you ask him?
He
Like,
wouldn't
was
talk.
she alive? Was she awake?
He wasn't in the right state of mind when he came back, Ellie.
He wasn't talking. Like,
No.
I asked him how it was. He said fine. And then I didn't know anything about the alcohol at that time. His girlfriend's mom picked him up about 3:30, 4 o'clock. And when she came back with him, she goes, I got something to tell you. Hunter's got something to tell you. I'm like, what? He goes, Candace gave me alcohol.
And those puff.
That day.
There's the story. Allison said she didn't notice anything, but he ended up telling her that Candace gave him alcohol that day. No need to talk about secondary drowning there, Sherry.
Day.
Yes.
Yes.
And tough bars.
Tough
at
bars.
the-
Swimming hole?
Yep. I said, what?
What kind of alcohol?
Those twisted teas.
What are puff bars?
They are a nicotine type of vape.
Why would she do that?
Yeah,
Why not?
and the kids all like it.
All the kids do them around here, like.
So is it possible Hunter was under the influence
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so. I really do.
and really didn't know if Candace or if
She said that he was like
He-
not himself.
He was not himself. I knew something was wrong.
He did.
And he will not talk. He's scared shitless. Maybe they threatened him because I know them to threaten kids because
And
they
later
threaten my
on-
grandkids.
Later on that night, Hunter shut down, and I didn't even know anything. And he had texted his girlfriend something. Her mom called me. I spazzed. Hunter was not himself. I called him a friend of mine because Grandma was home.
Yeah, Sherry had come get me.
Yep.
I had to put my dirty clothes back
Oh my
on.
God! Even you're almost in tears.
And I said, what's wrong? He wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't come out of it or nothing. He was just sitting there rocking back and forth. My homegirl had to come. And we had all we could do to get him out of that house, out of his room, and sit him at this table. I had to call the TVI back up. You think he was traumatized? Oh,
Yeah,
Something
definitely.
happened at that water hole that he
I
saw.
think he sobered up or whatever you want to
Don't know
call it
that.
and
He will not
remembered
talk about
something.
it.
Maybe she did drown there. Maybe she did.
He will not talk about it.
But he will not talk about it. He wasn't the same when he came
pretty
back.
bad in and of itself,
I'm sorry.
You know, that
I'm sorry.
And I
Sorry.
get in trouble because he refused to go to school. Candace had received a phone call that day in the car.
No. Candace. Yeah. What you saying?
Oh, the day after he was interrogated, we were in
Isn't it mind-blowing how they give you all of the details and then start to offer up this dry drowning and all these alternative theories rather than focus on the problem already at hand? You've already talked about them giving Summer alcohol. You don't think that was a factor when Summer pulled up and she was dead asleep? And her buddy, Hunter, was about to leave? She was just a week, a second ago, giggling away like the drunken little 5-year-old she is. Hunter's boozed up in the back. You guys were probably coordinating it and talking it back and forth. Just updating him as to what it was, where you were at that day. There's no need to look at other people coming up and waiting in the bushes. No need to introduce any foreign poisons when the poison is already in the back in the form of the twisted tea, especially to a poor, malnourished child.
Caregivers like TBI. Candace has a multi short in the house. Where's her grandmother? Well, with her mother.
That hasn't any nutrients in its belly, hasn't eaten.
Take the toilet with me. And I said, Hunter, I'm like, who's here? He's like, Candace. Like, yeah. And by the time I got out here, they were already left. I said, what did she say to you? What did they say to you? Did they threaten you? He goes, no, Mom, it's good. He goes, all they did was ask me what I told the TBI because they said that I could tell them because they're the ones that sent me. I said, first of all, I don't think they're the ones that sent them here. I said, you're on YouTube in a TikTok video. It was a matter of time before they came and got you because I was going to call them myself and tell, hey, look, my son was with them that day. Like, he's the one that's in the TikTok video because everyone's questioning, who's this boy that's in the TikTok video?
And they probably did threaten them because they threatened, we had an incident. I had an incident with him.
Have you guys thought about getting him into
You're out there as a 36-year-old woman pulling your hat down with a 15-year-old with his shirt off, Hunter with the shirt off, who's just a boy hitting puberty. You're grooming him with alcohol, bouncing around at the swimming hole, throwing gang signs, making TikToks. You're a 36-year-old woman. A 36-year-old woman, Candace, has child predator written all over it.
You had an incident with him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And CPS came and they came down to interrogate my granddaughter.
I really would like to
Matter of fact, Candace's mother wanted to take my oldest granddaughter outside. My oldest granddaughter flipped her wig and slammed the door, cussed her out.
Candace's
mother.
Mother.
And Candace, and she ran off, and she goes, well, your granddaughter ran off. And I said, she's fine, and she'll come back. I said, what'd you say to her? Well, she goes, I just said that, asked her what she said. I asked her what she said to CPS. I said, what do you mean? If you got nothing to hide. This is before even Summer came up missing. This had to deal with giving kids weed, because a phone call came in from CPS saying that I was giving the kids weed. My grandkids said, no, it wasn't me, it was Candace.
Well, they don't put no.
And so she came down to
Like, I think about that little girl every
threaten my granddaughter.
Like,
No, I get it.
So now
I don't blame you.
and then when they did this with her, before Summer even came up missing, I was really mad. Now I'm really.
We've been going to restaurants. Everywhere we went, in City Hall, we went to police, everywhere. We were so happy too. And we thanked people for having it up. We were so appreciative. But the only time we were denied any sort of access was at the church.
At the church.
They saw us and then they...
What was...
Oh, fuck. Do you guys remember when Molly went into the church and started filming everybody? She had her camera phone in her front pocket, I think. And they're all looking at her. I think they had to ask her to leave. You're not supposed to be filming people in a church. It's not right. Even though that they have their own live cam. But it's different when you do it. Jesus, Murphy. Oh, shit. Hey, Ilyanka.
Was spots that Don Wells
I'm just
and
getting
Candace,
tired.
and
That's all. I'm
Candace
getting
would
giggly.
frequent down here, like places.
Warriors Park.
Yeah.
We
That
went
was a
down
big
there. And
hangout.
then there's another one, Laurel Run. But they never really finished that one.
No, it was always.
There's trails up in there.
Is there a story behind Sonic? Because someone keeps telling me to check out a person that works at Sonic.
Nope.
No, okay. You don't know anything
I
about
don't know
that.
anybody.
Were you surprised when you found out they didn't go fishing?
Yeah, it's like, well, what'd you guys do? Oh, we went swimming.
So it went from fishing to swimming.
Yeah. Because I guess her daughter wanted to go swimming because it was hot out.
She loved the water.
She was a water guppy.
And right where they usually went fishing is right where the kids would go swimming. Like, so they go swimming in this part, and then you walk around the bank, and then you go further down a little bit, and that's where Candace.
When we went swimming with them one time, I didn't go in the water, but I taught my grandkids how to swim and tread water if they ever got out where it was too deep. This little girl went out deep, and I said, Candace, she's gonna go down the river in the current. Oh no, she's okay.
She's coming right out. I'm coming back up. You're gonna follow Christ.
All right, I'll be right back. I gotta hold my hands. My hands are cool. My hand.
All right. All right, y'all. That's good enough for a segment tonight. 3 hours in. I appreciate you guys all for sticking through this. Hopefully, we've gotten somewhere today. But we're off. We're going to shut it down and go and